This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, it's good to see y'all today. I'm so glad y'all are here with me. Just letting you know, you might hear goats. She's got them tied up outside because she's trying to deworm them. So they're definitely in the background. And in the spring, I like to keep my windows open. So let me shout y'all out. It's good to see you, Edith, Sonia, Cara, LJ, Becky, Bad Girl, Angela, Ellie X, Katie, Anders, Chloe Moon, a name here. I like that. Kim Trelia, Rebecca, Crystal Burns, Jenna's Gypsy, Angela Ballerina, Joyous N, Ever Love Me, Indie Girl, I don't know if I said you yet, Jenna Dombrowski, Ava Slim, Heather Wells, Southern Cats, Hobby Farmer. That's as far up as my chat goes. So if I did not shout you out, let me know. It's good to see y'all. I'm so glad y'all are here. We have a couple of things to talk about. One of them is going to be the DNA results. And to do that, we have to go back to the other video I made. I'm just going to play the video I made talking about it. I know we just watched it. Hey, Miss Kimmy and Teresa and Rita. But it's important to know because it's like the new DNA information that I just got last night it kind of goes with that. So it's important to know that. First, we're going to look at this court docket real quick, and I'm going to talk to you about that. While I get this pulled up, I do want you to know that I got the DNA information from a moderator of Gavin Fish named Gothic Breenax. I have linked, okay, I said present. I have linked Gavin Fish in the description box of this video, and then when I play the DNA video, I will link him here as well. He breaks down the DNA information like he will make it so easy for you to understand. So definitely check him out because there's no way I could do any justice to how he breaks down this DNA information we're going to talk about. I'll try to break it down as much as I can, but for the best breakdown, you definitely going to want to go see Gavin Fish. This is Stephan Stern's court docket, okay? And as you can see right here, March 20th, 2025, let me see. Yeah, y'all can see my mouse. Okay, March 20th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m., they are having a motion hearing with Judge Karsten in courtroom 4F. Pre-trial is April 23rd at 9 a.m., and then jury trial is May 5th. So tomorrow, they have submitted a document from the local news stations, and I think Court TV is in it as well. There's several news stations that submitted a document saying basically, you know, hey, we have the right to film. We want to film this. We want to be there. I don't know if they're doing a hearing on that motion in particular. I don't know if that one's involved with it or if they've already made a decision on it. If it is aired live on any of the news channels, I will come live with it, and I will be live. So if you guys see me live earlier than normal tomorrow, it's because I've got a live feed in the courtroom. Hey, Heathen. Yeah, I thought about going over his video because, like I said, there's no way I could do any justice to what he did. Because, yeah, I just, I can't break it down like he did. But first, we need to go back to April 10th of 2024, and we need to read the DNA paperwork. So I'm going to play that video and continue getting my stuff together for today, which I should have already done. And we'll listen to that, and then we'll listen to basically it goes with it. It's the conclusions that have been made. I will read it out, and we will talk about the DNA profiles. But Gavin Fish definitely broke it down better than me. I am positive of that. Also have some more Leilani Simon gel calls I will be releasing. I've been recording them. By the way, I got a comment from somebody saying your intro is way too long, and I left the channel because of that. My intro is as long as it is because people who have been here from the beginning absolutely love that song. So I play it for them, and I put the little small videos together to make one long video. But The most important part of the live stream I do, hey y'all, every single day is the missing kids video. If you take one thing from this live stream, well, I'm going through the homicide indictment and I found some interesting information. The missing children's video. Please look at those pictures. Please look at those faces. That's the most important thing of any stream, any part. That's the most important part of any live stream I ever do. So if you miss that, you're missing everything. But I just wanted to let y'all know that. Thank you, Roxanne and Heathen and Joyous and Jenny. It's good to see you, Roxanne. See, I know y'all love my intro. So I was like, if you don't like the intro, you can either skip it, or you can roll out. But again, the most important part of any live stream I ever do is the missing children's video. So I'm going to play this and I'll grab Gavin's link. I can speed it up to 1.25 so we can get through it. I know a lot of you have seen it. Some of you might not, but it is important because this is the whole first part of the DNA evidence. And it'll give people time to come in. Thank you, Sonia. I pray for them too. That's so very sweet of you. I can't make everyone happy. If I could, Lord, I'd have some kind of superpower. And I want to share it with you guys. Now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to show it to you and I'm going to tell you what I think it says. Any of my internet sleuths out there, if you pick up something that I don't, please let me know. Share it. Let us know. Give us some information. Tell me what you think, okay? All right. Hopefully you can see that. It's as clear as I can make it. This is from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. It's from J. Mark Glass, who's the commissioner. It's a laboratory report from April 10th, 2024. It says, attention, Mark Morris, who's the head detective on the case. I apologize if you hear stuff in the background. It's nighttime and I can't. It's loud here at night in the speculating family's household. So it tells us the victim is Madeline, what I assume to be Madeline Soto, and you'll understand why in just a second. The subject is Stephan Stearns. The offense is a death investigation in Osceola County. February 25th, 2024 is when they're saying the death occurred, which is important. That means it would be the night before. This is a laboratory report that was. If it's too fast, let me know. Hey, Toxic. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, but I homeschool 4 children. So, I mean, I've got 4 children here with me constantly. And so I have to get everybody calmed down and chilled out and all of the things. So it does take me a minute. Hey, Von Beardo, I like your name. That's so cute. I'm glad that y'all like the intro. Yeah, I just have to come. I try to make everybody happy. I'm very much a people pleaser, and I just have to come to the conclusion that not everybody's going to be happy. Hey, Hannah, good to see you. If it's too fast, let me know. Yeah, should be good. That was done April 10th of 2024, and we're going to go down. Okay, it says this report references evidence submitted to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement on March 13th, 2024 by Jamie Jung. The report contains conclusions, opinions, and or interpretations made by the author. It tells us the evidence, the FDL, and the agency. So it says item number, exhibit number. Okay, the exhibit's going to be for court, the longer set of numbers there. And then what we need to pay attention to is like item 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.1, 8.29. Okay. So the description for item number 3 is buccal swabs represented as being from Stephan Stearns. 4 is a member swab represented as being from Stephan Stearns. 5 is a DNA card represented as being from Maddie. 6 is left fingernail clippings represented as being from Maddie. 7 is right fingernail clippings represented as being from Maddie. 8 is neck swabs represented as being from Maddie. 8.1 left neck swabs. 8.2 right neck swabs. 9 is a right hand swab represented as being from Maddie. 10 is a left hand swab represented as being from Maddie. 11 is the backdoor hole swab represented as being from Maddie. The number 12 is the front door swab represented as being from Maddie. 12.1 is hair. 13 is chest, or I'll say boob swabs represented as being from Maddie. 14 is oral swabs represented as being from Maddie. Okay, this is page 104. Now we're going to scroll down. It tells us the file number of the submission. It says item number 3, buccal swabs represented as being from Stephan Stearns. Item number 5, DNA card represented as being from Maddie. Complete DNA profiles were obtained from item 3 and 5, excuse me. So that means they got DNA profile of Stephan from his buccal swabs, and they got a DNA profile of Maddie from her DNA card represented as being from her. Item number 4 is a member swab represented as being from Stephan Stearns. They say Stephan Stearns, item number 3 is expected to be a donor to item number 4. No DNA results foreign to Stephan Stearns were obtained from item number 4. So they're saying item number 3, which was the buccal swab, is expected to be a donor of the DNA that they got from the member swabs, and that from those 2 swabs they didn't get any DNA that was foreign to Stephan, which they wouldn't. They're his buccal swabs and his member swab. Okay. Item number 6 is left fingernail clippings represented as being from Madeline. They said using a color change test, item 6 failed to give chemical indications for the presence of blood. So that means under Maddie's left fingernail, the clippings that they got from them, there was no blood. Okay. This is marked out. I don't know what it is. And it says item number 5. What I would assume Maddie, but I'm not sure. It says item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item number 6. No DNA results foreign from Maddie were obtained from item number 6. So they're saying Maddie's DNA card is expected to be a donor to the DNA of her left fingernail clippings, and no DNA that was foreign from Maddie was found in those 2 places. Item number 7 is right fingernail clippings represented as being from Maddie. Hey everyone coming in, it's good to see y'all. Right now we are listening to the DNA video I did on the 4-page report from a while back. This one is from April 10th of 2024, I do believe. Now, the reason we're playing this is because it's the first part of the 2 pages that were just released that I got from Gavin Fish and his moderator, Gothic Breenax, about the DNA that's actually tying Stephan Stearns to the homicide. And we're going to talk about that. Dainty Dane, Princess Pillow, good to see you guys. M. Shaw, hey y'all. Cindy, good to see you. Thank y'all for coming in. I did pin Gavin's link. He does a way better job of going over the DNA than I probably will, but we will talk about the Y-strand and all of that, what I can pull from Google. But I did pin his link. I did get this from him. Kudos to him. He does a way better job of explaining it, so definitely check him out. I actually pinned the video where he goes over this, so definitely check him out. I appreciate it. Using a color change test, item number 7 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. That means there was blood under her right fingernail clippings. Is blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item number 7. No DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from item number 7. Okay, so item number 5 was the DNA card represented as being from Maddie, and they're saying that no DNA results foreign from Maddie were obtained from item number 7, so we're going to assume it was her blood. Item 8.1 is a left neck swab as represented as being from Maddie, and item 8.2 is a right neck swab represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item 8.1 and 8.2 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. That means there was blood around her neck. It's blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item 8.1 and 8.2. No DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from item 8.1 and 8.2. So item number 5, again, is the DNA card represented as being from Maddie. It says that that's expected to be a donor to item 8.1 and 8.2. I don't know if they mean like her neck, like obviously it's her neck, right? When they go back saying it's a donor to item number 7, like it's her fingernail clippings, not necessarily what was under them came from her. I'm not sure how to read that. You guys can let me know. But anyway, going back to that, is that it gave the chemical indications for the presence of blood. And then it says no DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from items 8.1 and 8.2, which would be, I assume, her neck. So maybe it was her blood on her neck. Item number 9, right hand swabs represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item number 9 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. It's blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item number 9. DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from item number 9. Due to the limited nature of these results, the data is not interpretable. So that's saying item number 5 was a donor to her right hand, and DNA results that were not Maddie's were obtained from her right hand swab. Okay. So somebody else's DNA was on her right hand. Item number as soon as we get done listening to this video, we will discuss Y-STR DNA. I do have it pulled up and ready to go. Hey, Jenny and Sandra. It's good to see you. 10 is a left hand swabs represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item 10 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. So there was blood on her left hand, and going back to the right hand, there was blood on her right hand as well. Please say a prayer. All of you that pray. Hio's got a lot going on right now, so I appreciate it, you guys. Keep her in your thoughts and prayers, and thank you. I don't know if I said that. I apologize if I did.
So to item number 10, again, left-hand swabs represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item number 10 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. The DNA results obtained from item number 10 demonstrated the presence of a mixture. Is blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item 10 and is observed in the mixture. DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from item number 10. Due to the limited nature of these results, the data is not interpretable. Continuing on. Item number 11 is RECTAL or backdoor swabs represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item number 11 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. Possible hairs were observed on item number 11, but were not removed or examined. So there was possible hairs on the backdoor swab, and there was blood. It's blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item number 11. That means that there was DNA. I'm assuming it's Maddie's DNA or Maddie's rectal swab, I would guess. No DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from item number 11. Item number 12 is front door or VAGINAL. Swabs represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item 12 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. It's blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item number 12. No DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from item number 12. So that means there was blood, but it was hers. And again, on the back door, there was blood, but it was hers. Item number 12.1 is a hair collected from the VAGINAL swabs or the front door swabs. A possible hair observed on item number 12 was examined using microscopy. However, this hair was not suitable for Y-STR DNA analysis and was returned to the original package. Another possible hair was observed on item number 12 but was not removed or examined. Item number 13 is chest or BREAST, boob swabs represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item 13 failed to give chemical indications for the presence of.
So this is going to be the most important one, number 13, which is breast swabs from Maddie. There is no blood, but there's going to be a mixture of DNA. That's what is referenced on the new paperwork. Hey, Mommy Ball. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's the case, Anders. Anders said maybe he had the gloves when he strangled her too. I'm wondering that. And if he did, and they can prove that, that proves premeditation. Because remember, in the jail call, he says he got hit with premeditated murder, and it was a dick punch. Because he says, I never would have wanted her hurt or any way, shape, or form. So, definitely interesting.
Of blood. There was no blood on her chest. The DNA results obtained from item number 13 demonstrate the presence of a mixture. So there's a mixture of DNA on her chest. It's blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item number 13 and is observed in the mixture. So her DNA is in part of the mixture. The DNA results, for these results, this data is not interpretable. Item number 14, oral swabs represented as being from Maddie. Using a color change test, item 14 gave chemical indications for the presence of blood. There was blood in her mouth. It's blacked out. Item number 5 is expected to be a donor to item number 14. No DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained in item number 14. So that means it was her DNA or in her blood. It was basically her blood. The DNA profiles obtained from item number 3 and 5 have been entered into CODIS. PCR-based Y-STR DNA analysis was performed on samples from items number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.1, 8.2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, utilizing the Global Fiber PCR amplification kit. Y-STR testing may be considered for item 6, epithelial cell fraction, 10, epithelial cell fraction, and 13, epithelial cell fraction. Y-STR testing requires resubmission of the DNA extracts. Please contact the biology section for guidance. The term sperm cells fraction and epithelial cell fraction refer to the two portions of the extract generated during a differential extraction procedure. The presence of
now this part, some of you might understand it a little bit better. I don't understand everything that they're talking about where they talk about their remarks here, but we are going to talk about Y-STR DNA. Cara said, I was looking at the pictures late yesterday of his hands, and I could be way off, but one of the scratches on his hands looks like it could be a bite mark, which might explain the blood in her mouth. That it's interesting that you say that. I think that's definitely possible. And somebody had said a while back, like, what if the tire was intentional, right? Like, and it seems like it was divine intervention that he got the tire, because that put him changing the tire where Maddie's body was found. But let's say, because we know he had the blood blister from supposedly changing the jack. What if Maddie bit him and he had a blood blister from that. And then he like maybe stabbed the flat tire or stabbed the tire so it would go flat. And then he drove it to the point that it was shredded so bad that you wouldn't be able to tell if he stabbed it with a knife or not, and then was changing his tire. That's a possible speculation. I think personally, if that were the case, there would be a bite mark on his thumb where the blood blister is. There would be teeth marks from her bottom teeth on the bottom of his thumb. We don't know necessarily if that's there or not, and we won't until trial. And I think it was divine intervention because I don't think he wanted to be seen changing the tire where her body would later be found, but you never know with Stephan. I think at this point, I would give it a 75 to 25% chance. 75% that it was divine intervention and he did not mean to get the flat tire. 25% chance that she somehow bit his thumb or he had some kind of mark on his thumb. And so he needed to come up with a reason as to why that mark was there and basically come up with a lie. So he comes up with I was changing a flat tire. Here's the flat tire, all of the things. I thought that, I think you could go down either road, and obviously they're both just speculations and we won't know until the trial. Kara said the mark by his thumb and index finger, right? And then there's scratches as well. Hey, Tonti and Paranormal Rooster, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing good. Ryan said, now we're talking. Yeah, lots of speculation. Princess said, I think he would have placed her body somewhere not so close to where he was seen changing the tire. Right. I think it was, me personally, I think it was divine intervention that happened. I think that it was completely accidental, and I think he really did get a flat tire, but there is a possibility for the other to be true as well. Hey, Flora.
DNA in the sperm cell fraction does not confirm the presence of seminal material or the type of cells from which the DNA originated. And the last page said, the submitted evidence and DNA extracts are available for retrieval or return at the earliest opportunity. It is recommended that all DNA extracts be stored frozen. Abbreviations that may appear in this report are CODIS, or Combined DNA Index System, DNA, which is dehydroxybutyric acid, FSI Genet, Forensic Science International, Genetics, PCR is polymerase chain reaction, and STR is short tandem repeat. Y-STR is male-specific short tandem repeat. And then it says who to email with questions. So I found that extremely...
Okay, yeah, I was able to cover it up in that one. It's not covered up in the new one. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. Now, again, I've pinned Gavin's link. He's where I got this. He breaks it down better. I might try to play a little bit of his video, but this is what I'm able to pull up from Google just right now. And I typed in, what is Y-STR DNA? Y-STR DNA refers to short tandem repeats, or STRs, located on the Y chromosome, used in forensic analysis, paternity testing, and genealogical DNA testing to trace male lineage and identify individuals. Here's a more detailed explanation. What are STRs? STRs are specific regions of DNA where a short sequence of nucleotides, like a repeating code, is repeated multiple times in a row. Y-STRs are STRs specifically found on the Y chromosome, which is passed down from father to son. Forensic applications. Identifying male DNA in mixed samples. That's going to be important because that's what we're talking about. So identifying male DNA in mixed samples. Y-STR analysis helps to identify male DNA in samples containing both male and female DNA, which is common in cases like sexual assault. Tracing male lineages. Y-STRs are used to trace paternal lineages, which can be helpful in identifying missing persons, tracing familial relationships, and analyzing ancestry. Paternity testing. Y-STR analysis can be used to determine paternity when the alleged father is unavailable. Genealogical applications. Y-STRs are used in genealogical DNA testing to trace male line ancestry and identify distant relatives. Y chromosome haplogroups. Y-DNA testing can uncover a person's Y chromosome haplogroup, which is the ancient group of people from whom one's paternal, oh, okay. This word descends, and how Y-STRs differ from autosomal STRs. Autosomal STRs are found on non-sex chromosomes, autosomes, and are inherited from both parents, while Y-STRs are inherited only from the father. Y-STRs and surnames, because surnames are typically passed down through the male line, men sharing uncommon surnames are more likely to share similar Y-STR profiles. But going back to what's the most important is going to be this one right here, forensic applications. And that is identifying male DNA in mixed samples. Y-STR analysis helps to identify male DNA in samples containing both male and female DNA, which is common in cases like sexual assault. There are samples containing mixtures. I don't know if you remember, but from me just reading that paper in the video, it talks about there being mixed samples on her breast. That's going to be most important. There's several times that there is mixed samples. So that's going to be obviously Maddie and Stephan, because the two DNA profiles that they took were from Maddie and Stephan. Yes, the goats are here. They are in the backyard right now. I'll have to put them out on a members only video. She just got them yesterday. So she's got to cut the hooves and deworm them and things like that. There is a boy and a girl, but I think she said the boy is neutered. Hey, all things serious. Oh, I'm sorry you weren't getting notifications. I haven't got notifications for your channel in a while either. Yeah, I can't wait to make goat's milk soap and lotion and all the things. Okay, so this is the new document that was just released. If you want this document as well as the document I was reading in that video, they can be found along with like a whole bunch of other things in my Patreon. I don't know if I linked it in this video, but it does drop periodically in chat. Again, I got this from Gavin Fish. Please check him out. He's pinned at the top of the comment section, and Gothic Brunex, his moderator. So this is from FDL, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, by Mr. Glass, who's the commissioner. He gives you the all the information. This is a laboratory report from March 10th, 2025. And it's to be sent to Mark Morris, who is the main detective on Madeline's case. It says the victim, and that's marked out. And then the subject is Stephan Stearns. The offense is death investigation, Osceola County, from February 25th, 2024. So taking into consideration that the subject is Stephan Stearns and it's a death investigation from February 25th, 2024, we can assume that the victim is Madeline Soto. I mean, I think that's a logical assumption. Yes, that has Heather Wells. I have battled with that for so long, because this paperwork and that video I just read says that the date of death is February 25th, 2024. So does that mean she died that night before midnight? I mean, again, for it to be on court documents and the DNA paperwork, this is basically from the autopsy, but it's not the autopsy report. It's just the DNA report. That tells me that she died that night. Was she deceased before Jen even got home? Did Jen even see her? I mean, it tells me that they've got her time of death as being before midnight. Or it could be that's the last time she was seen alive, so they automatically make it that. But I mean, with the autopsy and the DNA information and court documents and everything, I would think it would be more related to the time of death. Because again, this is a year and some months later. March 10th, 2025. It's almost 13 months later. I would think by now they have an accurate date of death. But, you know, that's just me. Yes, and also, hey, Nona. No. Cara said, remember, this is all just items that they release to the public. There could be a whole bunch more. Absolutely. There is a whole bunch more. Hey, Genevieve. That we're not going to get until after trial. Okay. So, reference. This report references evidence submitted to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement on June 5th, 2024 by Ms. Tabers. The report contains conclusions, opinions, and or interpretations made by the author. The following evidence from Container A was submitted for Y-STR DNA analysis, and we just talked about that. So it tells us the agency, the FDL, the description, and the description is DNA extracts from item 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.1, 8.2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and corresponding extraction blanks. Now that goes back, all of those items are listed in the video that I just played. And I don't think they ever mentioned number 5, because Hio and I were talking and we were like, where's item number 5? If I remember correctly, that's never mentioned, which is curious. Okay, the results. Item number 3 is buccal swabs represented as being from Stephan Stearns. A complete Y-STR DNA profile was obtained from item number 3. And then item number 6 is going to be left fingernail clippings represented as being from Maddie. No Y-STR DNA results were obtained from item number 6. And that's because the Y-STR DNA is male. Remember, we were just reading, and it goes back to the male lineage. So, what this says is it's got the file number and submissions. Item number 10, left hand swab represented as being from Maddie. Due to the limited nature of the Y-STR DNA results obtained from item number 10, this data is not interpretable. So basically, there was if me just reading this, I'm assuming or speculating that there was male DNA on her because it's Y-STR DNA, but there wasn't enough for them to be able to say definitively, this is from Stephan, this is from, Joe, Blow, Peter, Paul, whoever. By them saying this data is not interpretable, there wasn't enough there for them to be able to make a definitive DNA result. Okay, and then we have item number 13, which is the breast swabs as represented as being from Maddie. A complete Y-STR DNA profile was obtained from item number 13. And remember again, Y-STR is going to be male. The Y-STR DNA profile from Stephan Stearns, item number 3, which is his buccal swabs, matches the Y-STR DNA profile obtained from item number 13. So that is tying Stephan Stearns definitively to Madeline Soto's homicide because his DNA is on her breast. Now, could they say, well, of course his DNA is going to be on her breast. He lived there with her and he was sexually assaulting her. That doesn't necessarily mean that he committed the homicide. Probably, because that could be true. It doesn't necessarily mean he committed the homicide just because his DNA is on her breast. We know for a fact that he was sexually assaulting her, so it could be from that. They could say in court that he sexually assaulted her, so yeah, his DNA was on her breast, but that doesn't mean he committed the homicide. I apologize. I had to clear my throat. It's a possible speculation, Flora W, that Jim was wearing the gloves. Heather Wells said, other items will probably be checked more thoroughly now with better techniques. Now they have DNA match on Maddie. Yep. Okay, continuing on. According to the YHRD, okay, I need to know. We're going to sleuth this together. What is... Oh, my page just went crazy. Hold on. According to the YHRD in... Okay, YHRD in relation to DNA testing. YHRD, the Y chromosome haplotype reference database. That's what it is. The Y chromosome haplotype reference database is a resource for Y chromosome DNA testing used in forensic investigations and ancestry analysis to estimate haplotype frequency, identify male lineages, and infer ancestry. And then what is YHDR? The YHDR is an open access annotated collection of population samples typed for Y chromosomal sequence variants. It is a database of Y chromosome haplotypes, which are groups of allelites inherited together from a single parent. The database is endorsed by the International Society for Forensic Genetics. It is used to generate reliable frequency estimates for the Y-STR and Y-SNP haplotypes. Okay, so let's go back to the page we were just on. So they are basically saying that they compared it to the database. Okay, so according to YHRD, or the database, accessed on August 19th of 2024, this Y-STR DNA, or male DNA profile, is found in 0 of 29,207 total Y-filter halotypes. By applying a 95% upper bound confidence interval, it is equivalent to approximately 1 in every 9,750 male individuals. Now, that could be an issue because they could say, well, how do we know it wasn't one of the, how do we know there wasn't, maybe possibly 10,000 people that came across Maddie? It could possibly be somebody else's DNA. I mean, I could see that happening. Will it happen? I don't know, because it's going to be kind of hard to prove that she could have possibly come in contact with 10,000 other male individuals while she was deceased, but they could try to do it. It wouldn't surprise me with the things that this defense is throwing at the wall. Let me see what y'all are saying. Oh my goodness. Girl, you crazy. I hope you feel better, though. I'm sorry, love. I hope you feel better. Please hit the thumbs up, said Anders. And I appreciate that. Okay. So according to the YHRD accessed on August 19th of 2024, this Y-STR DNA, or male profile, is found in 0 of 13,228 total Y-filter halotypes. By applying a 95% upper bound confidence interval, it is equivalent to approximately 1 in every 4,416 male individuals. So does that mean she would have to come in contact with 5,000 other male individuals for it to possibly be him, or around 15,000 other male individuals? Ryan said, I'm 99.9% sure that Jen had nothing to do with the strangulation. It takes a lot of emotion, and we know Jen has none of that. I mean, to be fair, that's a good point. Okay, so remarks. PCR-based Y-STR DNA, or male, analysis was performed on samples from items number 3, 6, 10, and 13, utilizing the Y-filter plus PCR amplification system. Let's jump to the other document because I do have it. Oh my goodness, where's my pencil? All right. So it says that they tested. Oh, I've got it right here, actually. I'll just read it to you guys. You guys can check the video. So, items 3, 6, 10, and 13. Okay, so they checked. 3 is buccal swabs from Stephan. 6 is left fingernail clippings from Maddie. 10 is left hand swabs from Maddie. And then 13 is breast. So, it says PCR-based Y-STR DNA analysis was performed on samples from Stephan's buccal swabs, left fingernail clippings from Maddie, left hand DNA from Maddie, and breast swabs from Maddie, utilizing the Y-filter plus PCR amplification system. So let's jump back over here. What is the... My page goes crazy when it does that. And switch. What is the Y-filter plus PCR amplification system? Let's try this. PCR. Okay, PCR amplification system in relation to DNA. So PCR is polymerase chain reaction, is a technique that rapidly amplifies specific DNA segments using primers, DNA polymerase, and repeated cycles of denaturation, annealing, and extension, allowing for creation of millions of copies from a small initial sample. Here is a more detailed explanation. The basics of PCR. Purpose. PCR is a powerful tool for amplifying specific DNA sequences, making it possible to study and analyze DNA fragments that might otherwise be too scarce, mechanism. It works by replacing the specific DNA region in a test tube using a process similar to DNA replication in living cells. And the key components: template DNA, the DNA sequence to be amplified, primers, short synthetic DNA sequences that flank the target DNA region and act as a starting point for DNA synthesis. DNA polymerase, an enzyme that synthesizes new DNA strands using the template and primers as guidelines. And I'm not even going to attempt to say that word. Triphosphates, the building blocks of DNA, providing the necessary nucleotides for DNA synthesis. Okay, so let me see what y'all are saying, and then we'll talk about the PCR process. Flora said, in my opinion, the friends saying Maddie was in a bad mood at the party. I feel like there was a fight that night when Jen got home. It's possible. Sort of like cloning. Right, Heather Wells. Sort of, yeah, I think that's what they're doing. They're cloning his DNA. Okay, so the PCR process. Denaturation, the double-stranded DNA template is heated, causing the two strands to separate. Annealing, the temperature is lowered, allowing the primers to bind to their complementary sequences on the single-stranded DNA. Extension, the temperature is raised again, and the DNA polymerase extends the primers, synthesizing new DNA strands complementary to the template. Cycling, these 3 steps are repeated multiple times, resulting in exponential amplification of the target DNA sequence. And then lastly, applications of PCR. Genetic testing. PCR can be used to detect genetic mutations or diseases. Forensic science. PCR helps identify individuals using DNA samples. Microbiology. PCR can be used to detect pathogens such as bacteria or viruses. Cloning and expression. PCR can generate efficient amplification products following cloning and expression due to the presence of restriction sites at terminal ends. And then research. PCR is extensively in molecular biology research. PCR is used extensively in molecular biology research to study gene impression, DNA structure, and other aspects of genetics. So from what it sounds like to me, they cloned the sample because the samples were too small, and they still, even with cloning it, were not able to definitively say that his DNA was on her left hand, but they can say that it was on her breast. Okay, continuing. Okay, so PCR-based male DNA analysis was performed on all the samples using the amplification system. No testing was performed on the remaining DNA extracts. The values were calculated following the suggestion of the Scientific Working Group on DNA Analysis methods by continuing method of all Y filler plus Y filler profiles listed with the database, the United States National Database with Subpopulations 2014 SWGDAM complement, and the normal approximation 95% upper bound confidence interval. Y-STR or male profiles are inherited paternally, with the exception of a mutational event. Individuals from the same male lineage can be expected to share the same Y-STR profile. It is also possible that unrelated males may share the same Y-STR profile. DNA extracts are being returned. It is recommended that all DNA extracts be stored according to the labeling on the package. Abbreviations that may appear in this report are CODIS, which is the Combined DNA Index System, DNA, that acid, FSI, Genet, Forensic Science International Genetics. PCR is polymerase chain reaction. STR is short tandem repeat. Y-STR is male-specific short tandem repeat. And then it tells you where to email for questions. So basically, what they did was they pulled all the DNA from Stephan's buccal swabs, There was penile swabs from him, a DNA card from Maddie, left fingernail clippings from Maddie, right fingernail clippings from Maddie, neck swabs from Maddie, left neck swabs from Maddie, right neck swabs from Maddie, right hand swabs from Maddie, left hand swabs from Maddie, rectal swabs from Maddie, vaginal swabs from Maddie, hair, breast swabs from Maddie, and oral swabs from Maddie. They collected all of that, and there was DNA on a few things, but it wasn't enough to test. They even tried to amplify it, but the only one that they could tie Stephan to Maddie with was the breast DNA samples. So that's good because it ties Stephan definitively to the homicide. Now, yesterday, hold on just a minute. You guys want to look at the maps? We'll go ahead and do the maps next. But yesterday we were trying to figure out if Stephan arrived on Saturday or Sunday. Oh, no, it's not that one. It's this one. Okay, so what I did was yesterday while we were live, I know you can't see it, I'm pulling it up. I went through the maps and I screen recorded it. Okay. So it's going to kind of go through it, and I'm going to have to pause it so that we can see it. I wonder if I can amplify it. Hold on just a second. Okay, I've tried to figure out how to make this bigger, but I can't. So we're going to look at it. Dang, I wish. Let's see. No, that's playback speed. Hey, Against All Logic and Rhonda. It's good to see you. No said, I have to get back to work, but I'm listening. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a good day at work. Jen said, I think that moving her body was botched by Stephan, and Jen Soto had to go behind him and clean up there as well. I agree. I think it's definitely a possible speculation. Flora said, I can't even imagine sitting there at school in front of the line pretending to be waiting. And I think that's what happened. Hey, Cracker Jackson, Against All Logic. Okay. So unfortunately, I can't make this bigger. Let's see. Actually, I've got a better idea. I'll leave that up for a second. But I can, give me just a second and I'll pull it up on my YouTube. And we'll be able to see it better. I'll be able to make it big and we can go through it that way. So the issue, we're trying to figure out if he possibly arrived Saturday or Sunday, right? The issue is the maps only go back to Sunday. So if he was there on Saturday, how would we even know? Because what we have is the neighbors saying that he was there actually the week before, and then they saw him again, which I have it written down in this notebook. They saw him sitting in Jen's car the week before, and nobody ever mentioned Stephan being there the week before. It's pulling it up. What I have written down is the first recap. Plan on staying for a week. Jen can't remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning, which again is really weird to me because Sunday morning is completely different than Sunday evening. You know, it would be light and the sun would be out for one of those, and then for the other it would be dark and the sun would not be out. Stephan says he arrived Saturday night. Yolanda said Friday and Saturday and Sunday she had Maddie. Jen's second interview says he got there a bit after 8:30. Stephan, and then the neighbor said that Stephan got there a week and a half ago. Okay. Hold on. Yay, I got it. Okay. Let me close out these things. Let's make it big. It pulled it up a different way, so I don't know that that's any clearer either. Okay, that did make it a little clearer. We will put it on, I think 720 is as high as we can go. And I can't zoom in. Okay, wait a minute. It might be making it full screen. Nope. All right, so let's talk about this real quick, and I'll try to pull it up on my phone. Y'all can see that, and I'll look at it on my phone. So what I have written down that we found out a while back is that purple is Maddie, blue is Jen, or I've got blue and red is Stephan. I don't know if red is Stephan or red is Jen. The neighbor said that he was there last week, which would have been February 14th through the 22nd. And we're wondering if the Valentine's hearts came from Stephan. They saw Maddie walking the dog, or Jim walking the dog, which was weird because it's usually Maddie. And then Monday there was 3 people hugging in a doorway. They knew it was 2 adults. And that's what I've got written down so far for that. Well, this is where they do check his phone records, Sherry. And that's what I'm pulling up, and I'm going to look at it on my phone so I can kind of describe it to you a little bit better. So I will have to exit this. And we're going to see what it says, basically. Now, like I said, the issue is that we don't have they didn't give us see, I wish I could show you on my phone because it's really good and clear there, but I'll talk about it on my phone. We don't have it for Saturday. It starts February 25th at 18:05, which is going to be, hold on, what is 18:05 in military hours? 6:05. So it starts at 6:05 on the 25th, which is Sunday night. I think she'll plead the 5th at trial too. Heather said, remember the Valentine's Day cookies, not February 14th, but on the weekend later. Yeah. Has anyone realized that Jen claims she was essayed, therefore she had PTSD, so she has to take meds for that, and it made her unable to work, yet she didn't think the essay of Maddie was evil? That's a good point you have there. That's really interesting, and I had not thought about that. That is interesting that she didn't think the essay of Maddie was evil, and she had been essayed. Flora said, you know, they have her lying on that immunity interview. That negates that deal. Yes, it does. Hey, thank you, Against All Logic. Mallory said, yes, Rhonda, she lies and contradicts herself constantly. She tried to help cover this up, in my opinion. And lastly, Anna said, I hope the people from Canada put Stephan Stearns there last week. They testified to it and they can arrest Jen. The parents will lie for Stephan Stearns. Maddie could have been warned not to tell Yolanda that Stephan Stearns was there. I know that the neighbors from Canada are being called in to testify. They were on the list of depositions. Okay, so that's as big as I can make this. Unfortunately, I can release this video on my YouTube if you guys want a screen recording of looking at the maps, and you guys could tell me what you think it means or what you see. I'm going to drop the link real quick if anybody wants to come up, if you happen to know about maps and what this says better than I do. This is just me looking at it and interpreting what I see in my best interpretation. Hey, Cat R and Black Knight. Okay. So the first one is redacted, but we see red and it says Chris Stearns, which we can assume is Stephan Stearns' cell phone, because of course it would be in his dad's name, right? They pay for everything for him. So the red Chris Stearns, but we know it's Stephan. Okay. And we see a purple, basically ping on the cell phone tower. There's a couple purple pings in the first one, and it is at 1947. So what would that be? 747. And it tells us like the vehicle sighting, and there's a house, but it's redacted. So at this point in time, Maddie would be at her grandmother's house. And then it shows it moving or zoomed in a little bit, that's the second map you see. So this is Maddie right here. And we see Maddie's phone pinging a couple of times. It's going to move in just a second, and then it's going to start going fast. So this is Maddie's phone pinging by that road. And you can see that it's showing Maddie. This is that night at 1949, which is going to be 7:49 that night. She's sitting, it stays by this, you see this yellow road right here? That's going to be a main highway. So she's somewhere close to there. It's still pinging there at 7:49 that night. Chris Stearns and Jen are not around yet. Now we're at 7:53. It's pinging. Okay, and then at 7:54, I think it starts moving. Because you can see here, she's at this location, and now it's moving. Okay, let me play it on my phone to get where we need to be. Let me see what y'all are saying. Because, again, I don't really know what I'm looking at. About 1954, where it's moving. Okay, so we have a red, which is Stephan, a purple, which is going to be Maddie, and a blue, which is going to be Jen, I do assume. Financially, they can find Jen had way more cash than accounted for. Why or who is not trying? Good question, Anne. Anna said, I can speak for myself. I'm sorry that you were a victim. Never would normal people who also were a victim think it's okay for your child to be a victim. Right. I agree. 100%. And it makes you more cautious about things once that unfortunately happens. I noticed that I was. Mike said, imagine a chap with a soft felt cap on. He takes it off and kind of stoops with it in one hand while showing you the insides. Oh, goodness. My goodness. Rhonda said, was the substance abuse that they were doing to Maddie be the thing that Jen didn't want to risk anymore? Maybe Maddie started talking about things and asking questions. It's a possible speculation. Okay, so we'll play this again. I didn't go through all of them. I just went up to where we could see, because again, okay, hold on. Now we're seeing red. Red is located by Northport, I do believe. So this shows him, let me back up a little bit, at 8:10, he starts moving. Do you see the red right here? That's going to be Stephan. So he's right here, which I'm going to assume is his parents' house. This redacted right here is going to be probably Jen's house. So this is at 8:10 on Sunday. You see he's far away from Jen's house, and he's going to start moving. Now you can see where he's pigged because he's driving at 8:12. He's driving on this yellow road. So that tells us that at that point he was at, and you can see he's moving along the road where it's pinging. See, you can see it's pinging all over the place right now, all down the road. Okay. This tells us that he was at his parents' house that night, and he's leaving right now. Yeah, I did, Mike. He's leaving right now, going towards where Maddie is to pick her up. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that he wasn't there Saturday, though, and went back to his parents' house, maybe to see if they had anxiety meds, or maybe he had been there that week and he went home for a night and stayed the night and then go back to his parents' house. I would think if that was the case, his parents would have said something like he had not been here, and we'll listen to the first explanation. Jen said, absolutely no disrespect, but the victimization of Jen is irrelevant because it's apparent that she uses her allegation of CSA as a crutch in excusing her direct actions of involvement. You know, I wouldn't have thought it was very relevant until Rhonda said that it is really weird that she's the victim of SA, yet she excuses the victimization of Maddie and says that it's not evil. Would be my response to that, but I definitely respect your opinion. Did he wait to kill her so she was not a victim under 13? I don't know. I don't think so, but it's possible. Heather said he may have used another vehicle to drive and entered through the back gate. That's a possibility. Yes, ma'am. JPL said Jen created this, bringing the monster into the house with a young child. She was quite a shutterbug and told Stephan, as Stephan Stearns told investigators. She also a watcher because she doesn't play games. Yeah, those things are weird. That's for sure. Okay, so again, I mean, we're going to see him driving towards the residence at around 8 o'clock that night, but this is Sunday night. Like she just said, could he have used a different vehicle to go in the back gate? Absolutely. Do I think so? I don't know. We're going to listen to the first interview with Chris to see what he says. We'll listen to a couple of those from his parents. So you can see he's driving towards these two redacted areas. One, I'm assuming, is the residence of Jen, and maybe the other one is the residence of Grandma. You guys can let me know in the comment section if you want me to release this so you guys can look at it. Like, I can make a better one that doesn't go so fast, and I can release it if you guys want, if you want to look at it yourself and try to read it. Now, this is Maddie, and this is going to be 8:30. So I'm assuming the redacted part is going to be Jen's residence. So she's arriving at Jen's residence, or she's sitting at the residence, okay? And now at this point at 8:35, where are we at? We're at 1 minute and 30 seconds. I want to make sure it's red. Okay, so yes, the red and the purple are together. So that means Maddie and Stephan are together at the residence at 8:42. I think it's like 8:40 and 8:42. You see them both together. Do you see the red and the purple together right here? So that means that Maddie and him were both at the residence at 8:42 Sunday night. It is grim, Mike. Okay. And no, it wasn't a female relative. Hey Brenda, it was a man that she did a job interview with. Okay, so Stephan and Maddie are at the house together. Now we're at 9:05 and 9:06. Stephan is there with Maddie at the house. And it's just going through the time. Now you see the blue on there. The blue is starting to move. So that's 13 hours. And we're going to see the blue is going to be Jen coming. So you see the blue is bouncing off all of the places. You see the blue driving right here. So Jen is driving towards the house where Maddie and Stephan are at, what is 22:16? I think it's 9:16. We'll see. It might be 10:16. Yeah, it's 10:16. I apologize. So at 10:16, Jen is driving towards the house where Maddie and Stephan are at. I don't know because it only shows Sunday. We don't see Saturday. We're going to listen to the interview with his parents in just a minute. So Jen's driving towards the residence. Now, at 10:18, I think she's still driving there. Stephan and Maddie are at the house. She's getting closer. 10:21. Okay, so now I believe she is there with them at 10:22. And they're all at the residence together. And then this is the next day at 8:41. Jen's phone is pinging. She's at the house, and we see the little vehicle sighting. So this is where Stephan starts his morning routine, driving all over hell and half of Georgia. And you can see as he drives around throughout the day, Jen is still at the residence at 9:18. Still at the residence at 9:41, 9:42. And you see the little orange is his car driving around. I don't know where Bellis is. It really is Flora W. I do believe they lived over 2.5 hours away or 2 hours away. One of them is close, but I think that's the preserve. That's like 20 or 30 minutes from Kissimmee. Anne said, so true. There's 3 tripods in the house, 4 locks on the inside of the door. Everything's all white. No artwork in room number 4. I don't know how the roommates didn't hear anything. Yeah, it seems like those walls would be pretty thin. Granny's 13 was thumbs up number 91. I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet of you. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Yeah. Kissimmee is about 1.5 to 2 hours away, depending on traffic. Thank you so much, Cara, my love. Okay, so we're at the next morning, that Monday morning. He's driving all over hell and half of Georgia, and she's at home. Now, at 10:15, she's starting to move. And this shows Stephan at 10:44. Stephan's back at the house, and Jen's all the way over here. Okay. Now, Stephan is back at the house 10:46, 10:47. She's at the blood appointment. Maddie's phone is at the house at 10:55 that morning. Stephan's at the house 11:03, 11:04. I'm waiting to see her start coming back. Okay, now she's coming back 11:09, 11:10. Maddie's phone and Stephan is at the house. She's driving back. And now at 11:20 and 11:25, I do believe they're all together. 11:25 that morning. Video's paused because I was probably doing something. Yeah, I recorded this yesterday while I was on the live stream, so it's, like I said, it's not the best. Again, let me know if y'all want me to put out a better version of it. But, that's red, so this is going to be that Jen's at the house and Stephan is driving around. But considering the fact that his phone was not there, I would think they're tracking the car. Now, the purple and blue are at the house, so Maddie's phone is at the house at 11:42. And the red, he's driving around all over hell and half of Georgia. Heather said, Stephan Stearns would not want anything showing the videos as in pics on the walls, but he forgot what's on the bed or lying around in view of the camera. That's a good point. Maybe if they've set it up to have a whole CSAM operation, they wouldn't want anything identifiable. That's interesting. Possible speculation. Flora said maybe that's when his DNA got under her upper body when he was holding her one last time. I thought about that, or when he lifts her like basically over his shoulder and puts her in the trunk of his vehicle at the parking garage. I've wondered if that's when that happened. Cara said, excuse me, please make sure your membership gifting is on because they gift a lot over here. Thank you for that, Cara. That was very sweet of you to say. JPL said, in my opinion, he was taking pictures of Maddie when she wasn't alive. He is a depraved devil. Well, considering that she was in the prone position when they found her, I have questions. Cara dropped the link so you could turn on your membership gifting. Okay. So he's driving at 11:40 something. He's driving around. Jen and Maddie's phone are at the house. You can see him driving. Now he's back at the house at 12:49. It appears that they're all together at 12:59. But I could be wrong. He's driving. Okay, so no, they're not. You can see his car driving. Those little orange things are where his car was sighted during these times, and they have him on the camera. You know what I'll do? I'll release the, I'll scroll through the document and screen record like the maps and where they have him on camera at the stoplights and things like that for you guys to see that haven't seen it. So at what, 4:44, I'm assuming the blue is Jen. She's going to be towards the school and he's going to be at the house. Maddie's phone should be with her, but it appears that it's over here somewhere. I don't know what the purple is unless they're showing where the school is. He's at the house. Jen's at the school at 14:52. And she's supposed to have Maddie's phone with her. Now that's her with Maddie's phone because they're together. And Stephan is towards the house at 5:25. Now they're together. Maybe at your grandma's residence. I don't know. I'm just trying to interpret what I see. I can't tell the best. You guys could probably tell better than I can. And this isn't even all of it. I've got a lot more. Now we've got the blue and purple together. I think he's with her at this time. And this is where they report Maddie missing. Her phone is going to be at the house and they're going to be together. I don't know. It looked like that was purple and blue. Right now they're all together with his phone, her phone, and Jen. This is going to be 18:52. And so that goes into the reporting of Maddie missing. So, I don't know. Cara said, I think she was involved in the story or knew. That's just my thing. Right. Anna said that Stephan Stearns was there a lot earlier, just getting there Sunday night. I don't have enough space to finish the comment. So Jenna's lied to detectives when she had that one-time immunity. Yep. Cara just gifted 10 speculation station memberships, and I will try to see who they went to if I can access it on my phone real quick. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate that. That was so sweet. And Ever Love Me became a member. So let me play my song for you while I see who was gifted a membership from Cara. Hold on, Ever Love Me. Let me pick you up on the crazy train on the way to Speculation Station. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Thank you so much, Ever Love Me. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Thank you for that. And then Cara gifted 10 memberships. And those went to Donna E., Steve Simp, Muscles and Mascara, Bobby Warmer Photography, Tuesday's Dead, Nope Not Today, Carolyn's Just a GA Girl, Christy Storm, Don't Be a Bully, It's Not Cool. If you were gifted from Cara and you are aware you were gifted, please tell her thank you. And I will pick y'all up on the crazy train on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so much, Cara. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. I apologize. I was getting a sip of my coffee. Okay. Thank you so much. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I hope y'all like Speculation Station. That's where I get a bit more personal. We're doing the seeds. I've got to do a seed update. Them seeds are getting big. I've been growing. I got to get up in that garden too and get it going. I'm working on pulling up the interviews right now. So let me share my screen. And we'll continue listening to see if we can figure this thing out. When was Stephan there and when was he not? I think that I think it would be good to do a video showing like where he's caught on camera at the traffic cameras and the maps video. So I will work on that after today's live and try to get that out for y'all. Cara has been a member for 4 months. Thank you so much for that. That's so awesome. I can't believe you've been here for 4 months. I can't even believe I've been monetized that long. That's so amazing. Thank you, Cara. Cara said, I was gifted my first one there, wanted to share love. That was so very sweet of you. Thank you for that. JPL said, exactly, Rhonda. They had laundry all over the floor. Jen said she was picking up and organizing. Okay, well, why not do some laundry, doo-doo bird, right? Flora said, the roommate said he did several loads of laundry that morning, took the trash out, etc. Yep. Oh, yeah, they're growing right now. I've got to transplant them, though. All right, so we're going to attempt to find the first interview with Chris Stearns, because that's going to give us some insight on when he last saw Stephan. Yeah, his whole bedroom was a pigsty. They talked about like old Drake cans and just food everywhere and just ridiculousness. Phony is sweet. Yeah, don't forget to tuck and roll if you're getting off the speculation station train. That thing goes fast. I can't, the brakes are broke. I can't stop it. That thing comes and goes fast in the blink of an eye. You blink, you'll miss it. Oh my gosh, T-Rev is back acting a fool from what I heard this morning. Okay, so let's, not that one. Please don't go all the way back up to the front. Oh my goodness. It sure did. Holy crap-a-moly. Sorry, y'all.
The only restaurant I think we frequented a handful of times in the last year is La Mexicana.
I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's playing the immunity interview. I apologize about that.
Honestly, living on disability and then his income at Disney, like, it wasn't enough to survive. We really didn't eat out often, couldn't afford it.
Okay. Would you go, like, visit any parks or other than, not Disney parks, but like neighborhood parks or anything like that?
No, we'd hang out right here at this lake.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie really liked.
Yo, I'm working on like the cheapest laptop they had at Walmart. I've got to update my stuff, but I haven't had a chance to yet.
Any other park? No, not really.
This is the one I want. Please.
Now, what if it was just you and him, say going out on a date or wherever? Where would you guys typically go?
So, due to
yeah,
hardly
it's concerning. So is my computer right now. Okay. You know, it really upset me what he did as far as having his friend call in to pretend to be somebody that knew Stephan and talked about, you know, Stephan dating 9-year-old girls and a bunch of just mess.
Hotel reservations.
It really upset me. Okay, so let's see if this is the first interview. It should be one of the first ones. I need to shut off autoplay videos. I definitely need to look into that. Your lives are the only ones. What did you say, Phony? Let me back this up while I'm reading that. Oh my goodness. Allegedly speculating your lives.
Golf reservations, he's making dinner reservations. He had a company car, and I said, I want a job like that. So I went to Atlanta and ended up getting a job with.
Okay, your lives are the only ones I'm in now, not only because I love y'all, but because yours are the only ones that'll let us ramble with each other and chat like old school chat room. Oh, that's so sweet. I do like to have it like that. I do like to be able to listen to everybody's thoughts, opinions, and speculations. I like hearing and watching everything y'all say. I really enjoy our time together every day. It makes me happy. All right, so let's see what Chris says as far as when Stephan got there and what was going on Saturday.
This is one of the first interviews with Chris Stearns, Stephan Stearns' dad.
This big ass tower out in Bithlow. And there were people working on it. They didn't send me to it because I was stationed someplace else, but I heard that guys were walking through the field. Oh, here's a utility bill. Pull it up and there's a body. Yeah. I mean, that's smash that person into the ground. Oh,
That's interesting to me. He talks about walking through a field and there'd be a utility pole and they would pull it up and there would be a body under it. Like, what in the world does that even mean? He's referencing when he used to be a part of law enforcement.
wow. And that was a big
That's
event.
terrible.
Back then we had stainless steel revolvers.
Yeah.
And I was telling the other guy I was driving at one time I had a Pala that the siren button was a button on the floor, left side.
Yeah.
No air conditioning. You know.
No air conditioning in Central Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I pulled the
that's
guy
terrible.
over and I clocked him, and it was just above Brewer Hill on Aloma. And he said, I said, you were doing 70. And he said, no, this car won't do it 70. I said, this car does 70, and it was clocking you at 70. Gave him the ticket.
How long did you do?
I was in a couple of years, and then I just felt like I wanted to get into sales. There was a guy that lived in the apartment complex I lived at that worked for Stouffer Foods, and so here's the life. You know, he's on the phone, he's making hotel reservations, he's making golf reservations, he's making dinner reservations. He had a company car, and I said, I want a job like that. So I went to Atlanta and ended up getting a job with Campbell Soup, and I was in the food business for 20.
Yeah, I do work very hard to not talk about drama over here. We don't do the drama over here. JPL said, there's no drama here, just a lot of drama queens and kings. And I can definitely agree with that. Hey, Kimberly. Crackajax said, thank you, JPL. I should have got that. It's probably because they're not letting us get our hands on there yet here in the UK. One way of canceling out the knife crime, though. Oh, the firearms thing? Yeah. You think he was asked to leave the police force? Speculating allegedly. Maybe. And non-binary.
20 years.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
Very
Tony.
nice. So obviously this is a huge deal, right?
Obviously, it's changed from what it was at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So throughout our investigation, we came up with obviously you live down in North Fort.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm just going to shoot you straight out of respect for you and everything else.
Appreciate it.
There's a storage unit down there.
Yeah, I have a storage unit.
You have a storage unit. Is that your son's storage unit,
No,
or
it's
is that
mine.
your storage unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he have access to it?
No, I have the keys.
Okay. Were you aware that did your son come visit you on Monday morning?
This Monday?
Yeah.
No, he
the day
left
she
Sunday.
disappeared. Okay.
He left Sunday.
No, go ahead. Evan.
So
Okay, there definitively he says he left Sunday. I mean, that's pretty definitive. And I mean, they may be, as he so eloquently says, old and senile and making end-of-life plans, but I think he's pretty definitive in that. If he's recalling being a police officer and recalling things like that and, you know, things that happened a while ago, I don't think they're old and senile enough to not remember if he left on Saturday or Sunday. Hey, Lil Red, good to see you. Southern Cats, I don't know. This is the only interview he talks about being in law enforcement.
what time did you get here last night?
3 a.m.
3 a.m. When you got here, where did you meet your son and Jennifer?
We apparently pulled up at the same time at the hotel.
Perfect. Okay. When you guys got there, what did you guys end up doing?
We checked into the rooms. They had 239. I had 203. Opposite ends of the building. I brought my stuff up, went over and said goodnight, and then hit the sack.
After you guys went to your separate ways, when's the next time you talked to Stephan?
I got up at 6:30, 3 hours sleep, and went to the office because I figured he would be sleeping in, crashed and burned, and didn't speak to Jen until 10:45-ish, and she called and asked if Stephan was with me, and I said no. Why? Well, he's not here. Oh, we'll go down to the lobby and see if he's down there. How long has he been gone? 25 minutes. Okay. I said, go check the lobby. And then I started thinking about it, called her back, and I said, do you have the keys? No, I don't have it.
It's weird to me that she said he's been gone 25 minutes, and we're just going to listen to this and we'll get back into the rest of the interview from yesterday. But it's weird to me that she said that he's been gone 25 minutes instead of saying, I woke up and he wasn't here, so I'm not real sure how long he's been gone. Instead of saying definitively 25 minutes. Like, if you had no idea where he was at and you had just woke up and he was gone, why would you say definitively that he's been gone for 25 minutes? I mean, why not say, I don't know how long he's been gone. He wasn't here when I got up. That would be a normal response. Now, if you said he's been gone 25 minutes trying to make it look like he wasn't gone as long as he actually was, that would make sense. But that's just my speculation. Little Red said, I wonder why he automatically assumed it was his own son. I think that, did he know about Stephan the pig's bad behaviors? Maybe. Ann said, Jen said Stephan Stern's parents are super old and super fat. What about Jen? Herself is super lazy. I never heard her say that they were super fat. That's interesting.
So then she said, well, they just called and they're going to be out here within the hour. I said, oh, shit. So I drove out there. So it's probably out to the hotel because I was at my office.
Oh, okay.
Over off of Westwood. And I just grabbed my stuff and said, I'm going to go out there in case you guys showed up. I wanted to be there. So he hadn't showed up by the time I got there, and about 30 minutes later, he finally showed up, and I read him the fucking riot act.
Did he tell you where he was?
Well, he had an energy drink in his hand. He said he got lost, and the back roads. Hell, I got lost, and I had a GPS, and I said, no, this isn't the right exit. I do Detroit. So I always get messed up over there.
Okay, so like my partner said, we're not here to waste your time. You've been in this line of work before. Did he tell you he was in Northport today? I'm assuming he didn't, based on your reaction. So, can you take a seat? Or?
No,
okay.
He was in Northport.
Yes. What's the exit you take to get off at your house?
All right. 179.
Okay. Do you know the street? Like
Toledo Way.
Okay. So we have more than enough reason to believe that Stephan was in Northport today at the exit he took to get to your house.
I mean, right, Toxic. Toxic said that tells me she wasn't asleep if she had that tells me she wasn't asleep if she said definitively. That means she absolutely was sure he was gone that long. Right. It doesn't make sense to not just say, I don't know how long he was gone. I was asleep and I just woke up and he was gone. I assume he went to Wawa or Target or wherever all of the places he went. But no, you said definitively he had been gone for 25 minutes. Not 30 minutes, not 15 minutes, not an hour, not a guesstimate. 25 minutes is a pretty exact time. Instead of saying, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, about 30 minutes, almost an hour, like that's weird to me, in my opinion. They did, Anna.
Concern is we're conducting a missing person investigation.
Yes.
Given the proximity of that exit to your home, what we're trying to find out is if she's just hanging out in your house, you just want to get her somewhere safe, we want to put eyes on her, make sure she's okay.
She's not at our house, but my wife. Well, here's something strange.
Is anybody at your house now?
Yes. Hang on a second. We raise standard poodles.
Say it again.
We raise standard poodles.
Oh, okay.
Poodles. And they all. Except they went on full fucking alert. House, yes, throughout this period of time.
At what time? You think
that's
that
what
was?
I'm
Okay.
What time did the dogs go full alert last night?
7.
I'll have your water.
Okay. 3:19.
3:19 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys have like ring cameras, any kind of security cameras on property?
So we locked the door, and I don't, the door has a keypad, but when I left last night, it wasn't flashing. And that keypad, the battery's been in that thing for 4 years. So I called, I said, hey, that keypad doesn't seem to be working. It's not working right. So if you go out the garage, or you need to come back into the garage with the remote control. But she said the dogs went full alert at 3:19. We were at the hotel at 3 o'clock, so there's no way he could have been in Northport.
How big is your property down there?
Quarter acre.
Okay. So we've been in communication with some law enforcement down there and kind of working some leads. Would it be all right if we send someone to go talk to your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll coordinate that. So she's home now.
Right?
Yeah, so we're working the missing person investigation currently,
Well, let me give her a heads up because it's going to be noisy.
Okay.
We got 5 standard poodles.
How is your property out there? Is it like a neighborhood? Do you guys have?
No, it's on standard lines.
Okay, standard lines.
Yeah.
So no
Is it
woods
gated?
or-
What?
Is it gated?
No, it's on standard lines. It's just, no.
Yeah.
Our backyard's gated. They're going to come over and want to search the house for, apparently, can I tell them?
Yeah.
Apparently, Stephan made a trip down to Northport last night. Or this morning, I should say. I have no idea. But there's a storage unit, but he wouldn't have access to the keys to the storage unit because I have the only key to it. And that would have been locked in my car and he would have had to come in my room, which he didn't have a key to get into it.
Now, to be fair, if Stephan was able to steal thousands of dollars out of a closet, I mean, I think that he might have had access to a lot more than they thought he did. But the storage unit thing is weird to me. I think they said he did access it, but we don't have pictures of the storage unit or anything like that. And the key card, as far as accessing the storage unit, is weird because it says every night at like 12:01 a.m. that Chris Stearns accesses it, which is not the case. I guess the code changes every night automatically at like midnight or something would be my thought process on that. But I think that Stephan had a lot more of his parents' things than they ever thought he did, in my opinion, because he was able to steal money. He took the Rolexes and all of the things. Lil Red said, I think both his parents knew he had these issues. I know there was signs. I think they're guilty of, supporting him into adulthood, which made him very lazy and just not a good member of society. But I don't think they would have ever thought that it would go this far. His parents, in my opinion, enabled Stephan to very much. Yes, Keo called the storage unit facility and found out that the photos that are released on the internet of the computer and the whole setup were for the storage unit security system. It was not Stephan's storage unit.
He doesn't have a key. He took Jen's key. Storage room. It's in my console.
Can she check and make sure the key's there?
What? Well, is the key in the basket? We'll go look at the key in the basket.
The key in the console is in this car that you're driving up?
Hang on a second.
You said the key in the console is in
My car. Yeah, it's only one key.
this car out here?
Yeah. Do I need to go look?
Yeah, let's see if it's in there.
Yes, she can look for the key in the house. We can look for the key in the car.
We were wondering if he had a house.
Yeah, Kimberly, he did let him get away with way too much. He did steal all that. I don't know what the consequences were. I would have got kicked out too. Yeah, I can't stand it. He might have made a copy of the key, Rebecca. I'm just talking because they're not talking right now.
In the back seat for whatever procedure they have. So that's the Bill sailor. Watch out, sailor.
Oh, there's a poodle with you.
No, it's a.
Oh no, it's like a.
It's my sister's dog. Yeah, right there.
And that's the only key you
That's the
have
only
for the
key.
storage unit.
Yeah. There's supposed to be 2 keys, but I haven't seen that key.
Is his name on the storage unit at all?
No, it's not.
Like he can't show up his.
There's supposed to be 2 keys, but he hasn't seen that key in what I'm going to assume would have been like years. So that means Stephan took the key a long time ago. And considering that he was stealing Rolexes and money and all of the things, it would probably be to take things out of the storage unit and sell them, if I had to guess. He probably took it years ago and was basically cleaning out the storage unit and selling things to get money without his parents' knowledge.
Show up and say, "Hey, I lost my key. Can you give me access to?"
Okay, right. Here's your waters.
Oh, thanks.
I think so.
So, other than the storage unit in your house, could you see any reason for?
When Heo called the storage facility, I think they said it automatically does that, like shows that someone keyed in at midnight, or like it's between midnight and 12:05. And I think she said, if I can't remember, we did it on a live stream, but I do remember, I think that it was just like something that clicked over every single night or whatever. You think she ran into the woods nearby? Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And a name here said she did get money for her birthday. Maybe she caught him stealing her birthday money. Maybe, considering that everybody says he doesn't seem to have much of a temper and it was premeditated, I wouldn't think that something like that would make him snap to that degree. There's something else that we're missing, in my speculation.
Stephan to go down to where you live.
Does he have friends down there? Other family members?
No other family members. He's got some friends or acquaintances that he plays whatever war games or that.
Like computer games or?
No, it's a board game.
He plays like card games and action figures.
Oh,
Yeah, he's painted all these caricatures and what have you. He's gotten, some awards or recognitions for the work that he's done with these characters. But what time did you catch him on the camera down there?
He knows exactly what it is. He's on the phone, so I don't want to misspeak. But it was clearly when you were unaware that he was down there.
So I went to bed.
How long did it take you to get from Orlando to there?
Well, with no traffic out last night, 2.5 hours.
Okay.
But if you're dealing with traffic early this morning, you're going to be looking at close to 3.
Yeah.
Because the traffic on I-4 getting out of here, and then you catch up to 75, and then you catch up to Bradenton. And
What ways can you go?
you
So
can go through the center of the state.
is that the turnpike?
No, the center of the state would be where the technical college is on I-4.
Okay.
You hit there, and then you go down like 27 or 17 or something. But you go down the center of the state and avoid all that bullshit.
So 27 to what?
I'd have to look it up on the app because I don't pay attention. I just follow GPS.
Okay.
But you're going down really the middle of the state, and you come down at
Flora said, I'm betting he spent part of her birthday money at the vape store that day. That vape store situation is questionable to me because Jen mentions it several times, like, oh, there's cameras at the bank by the vape shop, and you can check those cameras, and basically she's basically etching in stone his alibi. She's like, you can check those cameras and see that he was there. Why are you so definitive about trying to make sure the police check those cameras to see that Stephan was there? Just like in the Leilani Simon trial, where she said she had to go to the gas station to get Ambisol, yet we see in the photos of the house there's a whole bottle of Ambisol in the bathroom, and she never bought Ambisol. I want to know how much vape juice did Stephan have before he went to the vape shop? If there was a whole vial of vape juice, and then he goes to the vape shop that morning to get vape juice, again, it's just to establish an alibi. And Jen is so adamant about making sure they check those cameras and see that he was there. And we have the receipt from the vape store for Stephan. It's in some of the files that I have released. But why is she so definitive about that? Why doesn't she ever say, oh, check the cameras here, there, or over here? Have you looked at these cameras? Did you see Maddie? She could be on this camera. She could be on this camera. She could be on this camera. It's never about Maddie. Even in the body cam footage, she never asked, have you seen Maddie? All of the interviews, they're updating her. She never asked, have you found Maddie? Her sister does. That's weird to me. CC True Crime, welcome in and thank you for being here. CC True Crime said, if there is zero evidence Jen had anything to do with the termination of Maddie, why keep trying to put her there? And people's memories are not reliable. I don't know. I believe evidence, right? I agree. Mike said, I think it all kicked off as soon as Jen and Stephan confronted her on Sunday evening. Maybe. I don't know if we'll ever know what exactly happened. I don't know if he'll ever admit to it.
At Arcadia.
You were right, Rebecca. Yep.
Head towards 75, Kings Highway, and then you go up north to Toledo.
Okay. It's like speaking German when you're not
Right. Hey, listen, I grew up here.
Yeah.
You know, went to Winter Park High.
What brings you down to Northport?
Well, we build homes in 6 cities. I'm the broker for the company. We started in Poinciana and Nuevo Espanol. So I was actually going to go to Palm Coast, and then I went over to look at some homes that we were building in Northport and said, oh, this is beautiful. I love it. It's rural.
Yeah.
And I said, and I expected it to mirror our experience in Palm Coast, but we had a bit of a rocky start. Right now I got 100 homes that are going to be completed, and the market's changed, and I'd love to be able to sell them right away. But I went down there because I thought it was a better area. The whole Southwest is a great area.
It's a booming area.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, Northport was rated the second fastest growing city last year.
You just got to get these Yankees to come down and buy some homes.
Well,
Right?
everybody's stuck in their homes.
Yeah.
You know, they love those 2 and 3% interest rates, which will never go away.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll never repeat.
They'd be foolish to get rid of those.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Northerners coming down here will, because they want to get the hell out of the North.
So when you read your son the Riot Act, what do you mean by that?
I said, what the fuck are you doing? I said, you know, if they came here and you were here, you know, they would immediately put a bolo out and find you and arrest your ass and just haul you off to jail. Is that what you want? Well, I'm sorry. You know, I said, I'm just so fed up with him at this point. And obviously there's something here because I've been here almost 6 hours. So they've been here 6 hours. So something's going on. Look, he spent a lifetime lying to us.
Okay.
And it's just never gotten better. And he fed me some bullshit the other day. And before I left the house the other night, I turned to my wife and I said, do we really know Stephan? Can we honestly say we really know?
Yeah.
And she got really kind of defensive a little bit. I said, no, I'm not saying that he did something, but can we honestly say we really know him?
So the other day.
Isn't that an impactful
when I left
question?
yesterday.
Like, to be asking about your child. Do we really know him? Are we sure that Dad was picking up on it already. He was like, you know, the person who raised him was already thinking there's a possibility that he could have done this. And he turns to his wife and says, you know, instead of saying that out loud, he says, do we really know him? Like, do we know for sure that he didn't do this? And of course, mom's going to get offended, not defended, but offended, because that's her baby. That's her child. Obviously, he was very much a baby and very spoiled and supported and all of the things. But that's just such a profound statement, a profound question to ask. Do we really know our child?
When I left last night, I said, hey, I turned to her, I said, do we really know him? You know, is he capable of doing something harmful to her?
Why would you suspect that?
Really, is he capable of doing something harmful to her?
Because some inconsistencies of phone calls he had with me didn't add up. Okay. So I'll give you the sequence. He calls me mid-afternoon, 3-ish, maybe 3:45 or something. and say, I just had a flat tire. Okay, how the fuck did you get a flat tire? You just drove over to Kissimmee. You took her, maybe you're running an errand, but where would you have gone to get a flat tire? The tire was so flat, he drove on it and ran the is that Jen?
Yeah, we were finishing up.
He ran the rubber right off the wheel.
Yeah.
So he had to travel a good distance to do that. And then he pulled into a shopping center, and I said, was the donut in there? Yeah, swapped it out and almost crushed my thumb. I said, okay.
You know what shopping center he changed the tire?
No.
Or where he picked up the flat or anything?
I have no idea. So
This
then,
was Monday, just to confirm.
yeah, Monday afternoon. Do we want to talk someplace else?
If we can, yeah. You want to put Jen in the truck? Jen, you mind sitting in the truck?
So Jen arrives at this point. I do believe they're outside of the hotel. Blue Sapphire says witness parents saying things during interviews, then try to change it in court to they do not recall or I'm not sure. I really hope that doesn't happen in this case, because I'm going to be absolutely furious if they put Jen on that stand and it's I don't know, I don't recall, I can't remember. I'm going to want to reach through that screen and slap her my damn self, as if I don't already. Hello, guilty of crime. Army Mom says Stephan Stearns would say merely wanted another flavor vape. Oh, he would say, yeah, if he had a whole vial of juice at home and then went to the vape shop, he would say he wanted a different flavor. Yeah, I could see that. And could they disprove it would be the question. Flora said, yep, it's hard to get the cop attitude out, even if it's your kid. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Call me Miss Slapaho, because that's what I'll be doing. Yep. And then lastly, before we get back to it, Blue Sapphire said every time he talks about the tire, he throws in his finger injury. I wonder if Maddie bit him. We were discussing that theory earlier. And real quick, since we've got 184 people in here, I'll pull up this thing that I have real quick. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up to help us get out into the algorithm. I wanted to show y'all this. I've got both pulled up, so we'll just go right back to the interview. But tomorrow, Stephan has court at 9:30 a.m., or there's going to be a motion hearing anyway, with Judge Karsten in room 4F. So at 9:30, I will be watching to see if they are going to televise it. And if they do, I will definitely go live at that time, and we will all watch it together. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. Now let's get back to this. Hold on, it takes a minute to pull up. Hold on just a minute. All right, here we go.
For a little bit while we finish talking to...
In the trunk?
Yeah, that's fine. Or wherever you're comfortable. You can sit in the weekend or whatever you guys...
How long are we going to be?
10 more minutes? Yeah.
And we're done.
It's been a while already, and I apologize.
All right, take them out. So then around 5 o'clock, I get this call.
I love that answer. How long is it going to be till we're done, ma'am? Till we're done. So just sit down and chill out.
He's
Hey, Lori.
telling me about, well, there's been an incident, and that then he tells me that he dropped her off. And I said, well, tell me what you mean by that. And he said, well,
Hey, Quid.
I dropped her off. She doesn't want to be seen being dropped at school because you're not driving a cool enough car. Oh, okay, so you're not driving a Lamborghini, you can't drop her off at school. Okay, dropped her up the block off. He said he watched her through the rearview mirror, walked towards school, and then he left. And I said, okay. And so now you're finding out when you went to pick her up that she wasn't there. And everybody's just discovering this at the end of the day. How many hours later? Okay. So then, trying to think when I had the conversation about his phone. He
Basil has entered the room. Hey, L.A.
So I said, okay, well, they're going to want to know where your whereabouts were because you're the last person that saw her, so they're going to want to know. I said, did you have your phone with you? No. Why would you have your phone? I just forgot it.
Bullshit.
Forgot mine. I said,
Bullshit.
beautiful. So then he tells me that he did an OS update. Now, I'm a techie guy. And I said, okay. And he said, wipe the phone out. Really? How does that happen? It's an OS update. It's automatic. You say yes, and that's it. It updates, and then it reboots. It doesn't reset. It reboots. Well, I was multitasking, and I hit a wrong button, and it reset. And I questioned that. And I said, so there were some inconsistencies there. So why would that phone be wiped out? And I asked him last night, when you guys wanted the phone, I said, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to give them the phone? No, I don't think so. I said, okay, give them the phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is there something on the phone?
Has he ever suffered from like mental illness or anything?
From what?
Mental illness?
Me?
No, not.
Notice how when he asked, was there something on the phone, they switched the subject and went right on to the next question. Hey, content. Hey, all I need is Jesus. Yeah, Jen had herself committed right after this. And the parents seem to think that it's for, per her lawyer, to kind of keep her out of the limelight. Yes, thank you all for being here and hitting the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It's so nice to talk to y'all today. Orange Rose said, I feel like I know so much about this case, but do we know for a fact that Jen Soto didn't work that Sunday? I think she worked that Sunday. And she says herself that she had off the next 2 days, and it doesn't make sense that you have off the next and would need somebody to come help you take care of the children of Maddie and take her to school and all of the things. Hey, Bogart, and hello, Bazard. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's good to see you this lovely Wednesday.
Thank you. Same to you and everyone else in chat. I just popped in not so long ago, but I won't be here that very long. But what do I miss?
Oh,
What am I missing?
Oh, I don't know. We've been over a lot. Right now we're just listening to the interview from Chris Stearns, and what I wrote down from this part of the lab is that he says definitively that he left Sunday, and we're just listening to the rest of this interview, and then we're going to listen to the rest of the interview we started yesterday. We talked about the DNA and the maps and the court case so far.
Okay. See, I've always kind of thought with the whole time from when exactly he got there. So I remember the Canadians saying that he was coming to the area like a week ahead of the murder.
Yep.
And I always thought that because of the thing with the coin that Maddie and him were texting about, the baby coin, was he, it's just a theory of mine, was he like staking out the time frame of when the roommates were good? Because he wasn't there for a while. And was he that week ahead of time staking out the apartment, seeing when exactly the roommates get there? Like he already knew her birthday. Everything okay?
Yeah, please, because my box is off.
Hey, can you? I don't know if y'all
can
can hear me, but my power just went off. So give me just a second. Okay, it's back on now, so I can hear you from my computer now.
Back on.
I apologize, y'all.
So
what were you saying? Can you repeat that for me again?
Yeah, there's like a double version of you on the panel.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let me try.
Stop.
I
apologize, y'all.
I apologize.
It's gonna be weird for a minute. Now it's just on my phone. It's booted me completely.
I think well, it's like, yeah, it still shows two of you, well, your panel logo and everything, but I think the second bottom one, just above me, I don't hear no echoing or anything like that. Yes, I agree what you're saying, Anna. Or Anna. It's weird how she can say because of her meds, it affects her this and that, but then she can do a part-time job, but then says she's sleepy for 2 hours or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Well, I will just, I guess I'll run the show for a sec.
I'm sorry. I've got it on my computer now.
Okay, it's good now.
It'll work. Okay. I apologize
Don't-
about Okay.
I'll say
Sorry about
the
that.
power went out.
Yeah, my power flickered and went off.
Ooh, okay.
But I think the box is working now because it was connected to my hotspot, and I'll pull this back up. I do sincerely apologize about that.
No, it's technical stuff. This shit like this happens.
What were you saying? I'm sorry to leave you up here running the show.
No, it's fine. I don't mind being soloing every once in a while. Oh no, I was saying that I think that he was coasting and trying to figure out who would be exactly at the apartment, the time frame between the week ahead of the murder and the week of her birthday. That's kind of somewhat of a theory I've been going with, because if they already charged him premeditated murder, then that means he had several, maybe days, could have been hours, but it could have been maybe more time frame to where he decided that he was going to murder Maddie. And I was thinking, well, maybe he was visiting the apartment complex the week ahead, maybe just trying to figure out who would be at the apartment at certain time frames.
Right. It's weird to me that, like we were saying, I caught part of that because it was trying to reconnect to my box. Now I should be good. I caught part of that. It's weird to me that the neighbors recall him being there a week and a half earlier. And nobody else talks about that. And yeah, I mean, it could show premeditation with him being there a week prior to the homicide.
Well, to me, it sounded
like way off the key of what you were saying.
No, it's fine. No, I was just thinking, like, with the neighbors, I'm thinking that he probably was either coming on time frames that they would notice, because, they're elderly, and I'm not saying that old people don't stay around their apartments or houses all day long, but it sounds like they noticed that he was coming in time frames that probably was before the roommates were even around to, be at the house. So, yeah, it does seem like if he did leave what the dad said at Sunday, then maybe, I mean, unless, Chris is lying, maybe he's telling the truth that he did leave that Sunday, but he was definitely taking out that apartment a week ahead.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's my take on that.
What do you think he would have been doing a week ahead? Do you think he's planning the homicide? What do you think that he was doing there? I mean, just hanging out, abusing Maddie. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely abusing her. We all know he was totally obsessed with her. Yeah, so he was definitely abusing her. Probably getting some items that he would, ship to that apartment. Townhouse. And then, yeah, I'm thinking, because I can't remember, did they show the exact date in the text message that Maddie sent about the whole pregnancy coin? What date was that?
Oh, they might. I'll look at that today. I'm going to make a video showing where they caught him on the traffic camera and the maps, and I'll add the text messages too. I'm going to try to get that out today. And I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember the only times I remember for the text messages is Jen texting at 11 o'clock Sunday night that she needs to go to bed right now. So I'd have to double check that.
Okay, and that was a dumb thing too when she does it when they're in the house, which is so stupid. But anyway, like what? Okay, because yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking that either he was just finding some things to get set up for it. I just like I said, that's just my theory. It's still weird that they were seeing him. No one else noticed him coming at the apartment. Well, probably except unfortunately Maddie, maybe Jen. Probably Jen.
Yeah.
I don't know about the roommates. Yeah, I don't think they would know.
Yeah. And he was searching that Cebu flooring a week or two beforehand, so he could have been trying to get stuff together. Yep.
Yes. That's see, it's stuff like that though. It's like, okay, because at first I was like, well, why did they say he was premeditated? I always kind of assumed in the beginning maybe it was some sort of accidental thing, but with every time you talk about the premeditation and everything else, like, okay, this sounds like this was planned out. Now the whole aftermath stuff, and we can see how shitty that was. Yeah, maybe it's because they're that stupid and bad, but beforehand, it does now look like it was premeditated or planned out to a degree.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they can. Well, I mean, I would assume if they could place Jen as being involved, she would be arrested. I don't know. It just bothers me. I wish she would be arrested already.
I still kind of go with my idea that they will get her on the stand and they know that the defense would tear her apart because she'll say something that the state can use, but that's still just a weird try, to see if they can get her on something. I mean, they know because the derivative immunity is only temporary, technically. So it is strange. I don't know why they couldn't get her beforehand, but maybe they feel like have to get him, at least if they get him, well, they will get him on the CSAM. They can get him done on the CSAM stuff, then they can probably go after her. Because then they really don't need her for the death penalty case.
No, I don't think she had knowledge of the death, honestly. But Ryan
the
said,
CSAM.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the CSAM part. I think they're just waiting for after they found him guilty that they'll go after her then.
Yeah. Ryan said, I don't think this was planned a week in advance with how sloppy everything was. That's a good point.
Go
ahead.
I was just to say with Ryan, I think if even first-time killers make mistakes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't deny that if you're a good first-time kill, if any of us actually did legitimately kill someone, we're going to make huge mistakes. If we didn't even remotely plan it. So that's something I could say with that. But to say that he's getting charged premeditated still means that it could have been days, it could have been hours, but something was being planned to take, unfortunately, quote unquote, take care of Maddie.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Okay. When he was 8, he and a friend were playing in a parking area, and a guy came out and got in his Toyota pickup truck, said hello to the kids, and then backed up over them. And they both were run over, but he got hit in the head with the bumper, and he had a slight tick. He had separation anxiety, so he slept with us for a while, and finally I said, "No, you got to go to your own bed, and get over that." He would go over to a neighbor's home and spend the night.
I will say, can you pause for a sec?
3:00 in the morning, wanted to come home, but
yes, sir.
Now, what he just said, that just blew my mind a little bit. He just said that Stearns liked to sleep with his parent.
Yeah, that's weird to me too. I was thinking the same thing, considering that he's a boy. Now, I mean, and it just goes to, for me, it goes to show the dependency on his parents and how much he was babied. I mean, even so later in life.
I think that this could explain why I watched the Gersh thing with the what's his name? Gray Hughes. And when he mentioned that he thinks Jen was groomed by Stearns, now I'm thinking not that she was groomed, but if it's showing that his dad said that he was doing this when he was a kid, what he just convinced Jen, and it probably wasn't that easy. I wouldn't call it grooming. He convinced Jen that they should continue aspects of that, but with, of course, Maddie. That
Right.
just blew my mind that he said that his dad said that.
Right. Basically, you know, oh, it was normal for me to be in the bed with my parents up until, and he could have even lied about the age, and basically saying that it's normal for Maddie too. Yeah.
That could be something that could explain why gullible Jen, I'll just say that, gullible Jen maybe, went with that.
Yep. And going back to that, like Rhonda said, I completely agree that Stephan's mom was trauma bonded with Stephan because of the accident where he got hit. After this video, I'll try to play the Grish video after this and drop his links, and then we can continue going over Jen and all of her bullshit tomorrow. Flora is possible. I think.
As far as
Nothing diagnosed or medication.
well, he's been seeing a psychiatrist or psychologist or something. He's been on anxiety meds, depression or what have you. I have no idea what they're talking about because obviously he doesn't share that with me. But he's battled a number of things: depression, anxiety, and what have you.
As a child or as an adult?
Maybe ADD as a child, but as an adult, more severe.
Okay.
He suffers from sleep apnea.
Was he able to complete school no problem?
Well, depends on who completed it. His mother, who we did online schooling, and she ended up doing most of the work for him.
Did he ever go to college?
No.
What did he do for work?
I've had him work with me in a variety of ways. When we were here in Orlando.
I just looked and I forgot that he was going over Gray Hughes. I'll have to watch his video. So we'll continue talking about Jen today. It is 48 minutes and I can't get through that today. But I'll look at it and see if I can play it. Gray Hughes likes to strike, so I'm very cautious about playing anything of his. But definitely I'll drop Grish's link in the chat and you guys can go check it out if you want to. Sorry about that.
From 2010 to 2013, I did these what they call BPOs. They're kind of like appraisals. I did 15,000 of them and had him and his friends go out and take these photos. And it was always a challenge to get his ass out of bed and go to work. No motivation. The more you do, the more you make. Yeah. No motivation there. So
that irritates me to no end because he was basically handed everything by his parents, including a good job, and he just can't get his ass out of bed to go to work. Like, it infuriates me.
It was all about Stephan.
Yeah. I dropped Grish's link and pinned it at the top if you guys want to check him out after the live. He's definitely our friend over here. Yeah. Hey, the gardening divas. It's good to see you.
After that, that work went away. I got involved in various projects around the state of Florida. He really didn't do much. He worked at Quiznos for a while. That didn't last long until he wrecked his car. So he's been living with us and me trying to get him out of the house to go work. We came down to Northport. He stayed there with Jen. So while we were down there until December of last year, he lived with Jen. And then I was supporting him in Orlando, and I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. You got to come back. Yeah. And I was trying to create an opportunity for him down there, but that didn't materialize. Then I'm trying to get his ass out to get a job at Lowe's or Home Depot or something.
Time-wise, it's sometime like 7:45 she was down there.
7:45 this morning.
So, did you tell your wife that fourth court meeting's on the way? Did you speak to her already?
I will let her know that we got sidetracked on something.
Right? Blue Sapphire said, "Are you kidding? He said he loves to drive around meandering, but couldn't follow up with a job. Driving around and taking photos doesn't get any easier. What a bum." And I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with
that's
you 100%.
really bad.
Yeah. Love to Hunt said, and he had an affair with a younger woman, right? I think so. I do believe so, but you know, that was quite a long time ago, referencing his parents.
They're coming there to see if she's hiding in the house.
Yeah, so what we'd like to do is, given that he went down there, we'd like to make sure like he didn't stash her in the bedroom and hey, just hang out here.
No, she's been sorting out his bedroom because he lives like a fucking pig.
And you said you guys have a Ring camera, right?
Well, I was about to tell you that. I switched. Hey, Northport Police is going to stop by to do a wellness check type of thing. They're going to see if somehow
around the house yelling her name. Just that motherfucker. You know what? You know what stopped him from getting in the house? He didn't have a garage door opener. The front door lock is not working well.
Yep.
And I had put the lock on the slider.
Now that's his mama. She's pissed. She's coming out, running out the door, talking about that motherfucker, and talking about why he was not able to get into the house. So at this point, she's pissed too. So I'm thinking they both caught on to Stephan's probably done something.
And I think she was being embarrassed too.
Okay. All right. So I'm with the.
You do. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
You do?
yeah. I think she was embarrassed too, especially now that she has to hear this with the cops and everything. Yeah, I think she was embarrassed.
Yeah, I agree.
And coming from all the alleged, well, I would just say, yeah, coming from all their alleged friends that said that they knew her, or at least the few ones that did kind of sound a little bit more legitimate. Yeah, it sounds like Deb was a perfectionist to a degree. And anything to ruin that image, yeah, she would not like it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Army Mom, I think that we'll learn what the psychiatrist had to say about him at the trial.
Mm-hmm.
I think they definitely will have had him assessed, and we'll hear about it. I can't wait for it. I mean,
yeah, I think, well, coming from like Sarah, or I have some growing in college, I did some psychology courses. I mean, he clearly has narcissism, sociopathic tendencies, and then of course, I forgot what's it called when it comes to pedophiliacs, but it's a certain type of condition that he clearly has. But I forgot the name of it. But a lot of pedophiliacs have this condition.
Yeah. Fonny, thank you for the support. I highlighted your original comment. You sent it twice. I don't know if you meant to do that. I don't know if you can take back one of them. I appreciate the support, though. Fonny said, wait, wouldn't that be tampering with evidence for Stephan Stern's mom to be in his room at all at this point during the unfolding of the events? It would be, but at this point, his parents' house is not under investigation. And they have him driving down there at that point, and they haven't said, okay, we need you to leave the house so we can search it and see what's going on in the house. So no, she wouldn't be tampering with evidence because it's not a closed crime scene. You're so sweet, Fonny. Thank you. But if she had been messing with like if Jen went into her house after they had closed it down to do forensics, then yeah, that would be tampering with evidence. It's how, I mean, if they could definitively prove that she threw something away that was related to the crime, she could get in trouble with with tampering with evidence, but at this point, they're not searching their house. They're going to. They're calling people down there, but they haven't yet. JPL, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. Y'all are so sweet and supportive. Thank you so much. That was so very sweet. That is a little hippo in a computer chair that's spinning around. That is so cute. Thank you. Okay. You're funny, Bonnie.
The detectives and they're sending Northport Police over to do a check to make sure that she isn't there. Okay, so you may want to alert the dogs. They're really friendly.
I've got their food. I'm fixing to feed them.
Okay.
Just tell them they'll get noisy. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go.
They're good guys. I've been landline with them.
Yeah.
If there are any issues, give me a call.
All right. Okay.
And as far as outside of your house, what does the layout of your yard look like?
Well, there's a house to the right of me, and to the left of it is woods, and there's woods across the street that fronts I-75. At 7:45, it would have been well lit. There would be traffic, small amount of traffic going up and down our street because they're constructing homes nearby, and so there's always people doing that.
So this is no HOAs, I'm assuming?
No, sir. No, it's all scattered by.
When you say woods, you mean like woods, or like a thicket?
Wood, yes.
What's your address?
With the satellite view, you'll see there's wooded lots all around. So next to me, there's a new house, and he's a renter. There's my house, and then to the left, there is wooded lot. There's a lot of wooded lots before my house, and then you run into one or two houses.
So going back to the cameras, you were going to say something.
Okay, so I ditched Comcast, and I had the Sky Bell hooked up to Comcast.
Okay.
And I realized when I kept seeing this orange light, I said, shit, I got to move this over. It's a pain in the ass. Move it over to the Frontier Communications versus Comcast. So I've got to reconnect it with the internet.
So the cameras weren't working for the last week?
Because we discontinued the service. Matter of fact, the modem's sitting in my office floor.
Okay. All right. Do you think?
I never picked up on that before. I wonder, I mean, I'm sure Stephan knew that his parents were changing internet providers or modem, whatever it was he just said. They were changing to Comcast. So the computers had been down for a week. I mean, I'm sure Stephan knew that. And I wonder if he used that to his advantage in any way. I wonder if maybe he thought they couldn't pick up his Google searches because he had switched internet providers or something when he searched for the Seawolf flooring.
Right. I mean, it's possible.
Mm-hmm. You're right, John B. Just like Jen, conveniently nothing is working, and everything was down, right? Rhonda said you can hear it in Stephan's mom's voice that she's really upset. I think she's starting to face the reality that he's involved in Maddie's disappearance. Remember, at this time, no one knew about the essay, right? Yes, ma'am.
Think your son's capable of doing something like this? I know it's a hard question as a father.
I wasn't a hero and a welcome comment. I said, how well do we know? Yeah. And nothing would surprise me at this point. I don't know.
Is your wife his mom?
Yes. We are biological parents. Yeah.
Hey, Angela.
I'm going to say anything's possible. I don't know. I mean, there would have to be some ulterior motive for some reason.
Oh, I didn't realize that it had paused. Okay. I don't know what the crest is. I don't know if that's on Stephan Stern's coat or on top of the picture. I would assume it's for some type of country club thing, but not sure. Thank y'all for coming in, Angela and Titanium. I am.
Sure.
Was there a motive?
Well, we don't know. We're trying to find her. We still think she's alive. So,
well, this press conference indicated that she had some comments on social media about "I want to live in the woods."
Yeah.
Was that accurate? Or
that was.
Well,
we're not going to put anything inaccurate out there. That just tarnishes the validity of the
I asked Jen about that. She said, "Yeah, we had a conversation about the Third World War. Where would you live? You know, the Palestine-Israeli situation. That's what." Okay,
so that was more of a fictitious. If doomsday happens, sweetheart, where are you going to live? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go live in the woods. I said, "I don't." She go live in the woods now by herself? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, my idea of roughing it is that Howard Johnson's without a pool.
What is? Do you know the unit number for your storage unit?
Yeah.
Because obviously you see the scope of both of them. At some point, we may want to use that storage unit as well.
I was there a couple of weeks ago pulling out some tax boxes. There's not that much room in there. I mean, you could stash a body if you wanted to, if that's the case. But like I said, as far as I know, I have the only key. I don't know if there were 2 keys issued, and I haven't seen the other key for well over a year. So,
is there a chance that he has that key?
Yeah, I would say
there's always a chance.
There could be a chance because he's stolen from us, and why he would want it is beyond me, because all his stuff is that he has, guitar or what have you, is stuck in the very back, and he didn't want that. But I've ended up trying to clean out our garage, and I stuck all the other stuff there, and he wouldn't like that. Nor would I think he would spend the time to pull shit out of there to get it.
What did he think about it?
My impression is that he loves the shit out of her. And he was very upset Monday when he was talking to me. He was sobbing and blaming himself for her disappearance, and he was just I could tell he was just going to be an emotional wreck.
Yeah. Did he ever have?
That's interesting to me. My impression was that he loved the shit out of her. Like, that's weird. Like, he wouldn't, I couldn't imagine myself saying about a friend who has a stepchild or a child by saying, oh, he loves the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Or she loves the shit out of her daughter. She loves the shit out of her stepdaughter. He loves the shit out of it. Like, that's weird to me.
And
then to hear. Go ahead.
Well, I was saying but then him saying all this like pretty shitty stuff about your own kid. It's like that does sound strange to me. I mean, it's possible that you can have a really shitty child, but then they can still be somewhat caring to other people. But just the way he describes his son is like, you really think he cared about a little girl, let alone you guys?
Yeah, good point. I mean, he couldn't even take care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his number one. And then to hear he was so upset and crying and blaming himself on Monday. I mean, of course he was, because it was his fault, but
it is weird how his dad said that, I will admit.
Yeah. I've always found that statement weird.
Did he discipline her? How long?
It's redacted.
It's hearsay. He may have yelled at her because the Jen and Jen would tell me this. Jen.
It's redacted again. I wish I could get all of this unredacted.
I mean, it's going to probably take a while before, maybe after the case, the authorities will unredact everything, but probably not if it falls.
Did you ever have extended?
Yeah, after the case, I'm definitely going to request everything unredacted.
I think they should allow you to, but
Maybe it.
but yeah, I don't know because of like a child getting murdered. I mean, look at the whole Delphi situation. I don't think they're ever going to release anything, of that stuff. So to the public.
Yeah, it might depend on if he tries to do an appeal. But one thing I've heard about that's good about all the motions being filed by these attorneys is that they are going to have a hard time to, if he tries to appeal it and say he didn't have good representation, because it's obvious he had wonderful representation with as many motions as they're throwing at the wall to see what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I am also sure the weight loss affected his thinking, gave him more courage to actually take up his dirty inclinations and act on them. You think so? I hope not. That's interesting, Toxic. Thank you for being here, Bogart.
During the holidays or whatever, where you were with the whole family?
They came down at Thanksgiving or Christmas. My wife and the dogs.
Slept with who?
My wife and the dogs.
And the dogs, yeah. And during those times, was your relationship seemingly normal?
Yeah. I mean, they secluded themselves in Stephan's room, the three of them.
And then Jen. Okay.
And they would spend the bulk of their time there, times and play with the dogs. They would bring Sailor with them.
Okay.
And would go into the bedroom and maybe read a book or watch a movie together, hang out. But
I'm sorry, Bogart.
Okay. And nothing, I mean, you were a cop for years. Nothing you noticed that would be alarming?
I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So then just going back to the storage unit, obviously they're going to go to the house and check in the near future. Would you have any issues with us checking out your storage?
Your code was used this morning to access the property, the storage property. Your keypad code. I have Northport PD in front of your storage unit.
Now, that's weird to me. What did he go to the storage unit for? What was he trying to take out or put in or whatever? And then we find out that his dad gets the hard drive and the USB drive later. So I'm assuming he was putting that there. But at this point, I mean, I talk about dumb criminals. He had to know that they were watching him and tracking him. But, I mean, he went to the scene of the crime several times. So who knows?
Yeah, the only thing I could think of was that maybe there was some other stuff in the storage that he put in there, and since he knew that his parents don't regularly go there all the time, maybe there were like some other things, some definitely dirty, guilty items that probably were there, and then maybe he was just switching them out here and there. Because he really was trying to get rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was trying like hell too.
But knowing how these predator guys act and think, and same thing like serial killers, where they would try to get rid of guilty items, but then because they're so obsessed about their victims or just a crime, it's like they want to still have a memento. So it's like, yeah, he supposedly deleted thousands of stuff, but I have a feeling that he still had material that he probably would have kept. I mean, he probably wanted to keep, but now that he got caught, no, not for you anymore, Stern.
Yeah, thank God. Flora said, evidently his parents aren't the only ones putting money on his book in jail. Some random guy is. That guy actually is not random. He got convicted in the 90s for basically rolling up on some teenage girl, actually 12-year-old girls, and pulling his winky out and spanking the monkey in front of them, and then trying to go to another apartment complex and do the same thing in front of another woman. So it's weird to me that guy is the one putting money on his books, considering his previous charges. He put $10 on 2 times in November of 2024. And considering the crimes he's convicted of, I'm wondering if that guy was trading CSAM with him and all of that.
It's not that hard to think. It's probably not. Like I can't even talk. It's probably that or just weirdos, these kind of sicko guys, just kind of somewhat sticking together,
Yep. I'm wondering if there are going to be charges for that guy. Yeah.
That'd be interesting too.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on that. Nona said, sounds like Stearns had and still has connections with others like him. It definitely does. Definitely does.
Another thing I was just thought of too, it's not impossible, but it has to be proven in the trials. He probably, like I said, had stuff in that storage room. It would not be that surprising if he sold it to other predators to get money,
Oh,
quick
yeah.
cash. I have a feeling that maybe he was going to try to leave the area or maybe the state, but of course they caught him so fast. But I mean, to me, it looks like he was doing things that looked like he was going to be leaving eventually.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that would be something if the defense asked Jen, like, well, I don't know if they would say that, but I would if I was a prosecutor. Like, does it not look like he was trying to leave you behind and everything else? See if maybe Jen would kind of break. I don't know if she ever would, but
yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna get ready to head off. But it was nice to be on for a quick sec, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. Everyone else as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming up, Bazard, and I hope you have a good day at work.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, you too, love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're in kind of a weird situation. Are you all right if they end up breaking the lock to get in there to make sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Alex, I just
heard it. He just asked Mr. Stearns if he was okay with us breaking the lock.
Yeah, access the keypad.
So we're here.
We're working with management down there, and this is statewide news. This is huge news.
Yep.
So a lot of people are going above and beyond helping us.
Let me.
I didn't even know he had the key.
Okay.
I don't know how he would have gotten the keypad.
It's interesting. What's your code?
Let's go get some take real quick.
Sure. What do you want to do?
They want the waivers signed before they break down that door. Like
okay.
So yeah, they want to consent signature. So
Yeah. Do you mind?
Will they
doing
take a wet signature or an e-signature?
Yeah.
I think you pay. Your code was entered to enter the property this morning.
And what time was that at?
9.
9.
And her wife, by chance, wouldn't have went to the storage room. She wouldn't even know where it is.
And Jen was with you this whole time, right? So
Wait. When I don't know where Jen was until she called me at 11.
okay,
Jen,
at 11.
And she said, "Hey, Stephan's not here. Is he with you?"
Okay.
So then he made up this story of getting lost and whatever. So there we go.
We can probably go upstairs.
Was that?
We can go upstairs.
Yeah.
We'll take these elevators right here.
Well, we're just walking. I was like 8900. I said, well, if I keep walking, I'll hit my 10,000 steps in a minute.
Was this the sheriff's? There's no way this was the sheriff's office.
No, it was just opening up.
Down on 33rd is where you guys are at.
Yeah.
Who was the sheriff?
Mel Coleman.
No. Okay.
I think we got his picture on the wall. You'll have to Google it.
I would. Well, we have his pictures. We have shrines of past sheriffs all over. I'm sure we'll see him.
He was a good guy. He was kind of, I guess, revolutionary back then, young guy and what have you.
Yeah.
I think he was planning on running, but I don't think he got the chance. But again, I mean, in this day and age, where are you going to run? Where are you going to hide? I mean, there's not that many places you can run and hide. You know what I mean?
But, what was the pay back then? I think I was making $800 a month. Tell me about it.
I agree.
Yeah, but back then that was a good job, right?
Well, it was fun. I tell you what, once you get it into your blood, you never let it go. So I was moving with Campbell Soup from Jacksonville to Orlando. Am I going to be able to get back there?
I'll go there. Yeah.
And I'm taking this truck back Sunday evening, and I've got to be at the office in Jacksonville to pick somebody up a writer's office.
Yeah.
Monday morning.
Hey, Evan, we'll just hang out here because he doesn't have a proxy. Okay.
So I pull up 436, 1792 in Casper. It was a green pickup truck. This stupid Pepsi rental truck. And as I'm approaching the intersection, this guy is weaving. And so we pull through the intersection, and this guy's weaving. And then I noticed up ahead the guy's riding this bicycle. And this guy pulls over, and it's he's going to hit this guy.
Oh, no.
He hit him. Sent him flying. I went running up to I drove up to him, and he pulled into the ABC liquor lot for whatever reason, and turned around and looked at me and said, "Thank you very much. I got your face. I've got your license plate. I got on the payphone," because that's what you did that day, and called out of my police department and said, told him what happened. I said, "I think he's going to be heading eastbound on I-4." They came up.
Hey, Evan, is that remote right there? Can we turn this thing off? Yeah.
And so, I'm on TV, came up, took a report, as I'm talking to him, again, a video alert, now we got to go this.
He's just talking about things that happened back when he was a police officer and things like that.
Jacksonville, not far from my exit, the truck stopped.
Yeah.
I'm now stuck on 95 at 3 a.m. I've got to be at the office at 7 a.m. And these sailors coming back, picked me up and took me to my apartment. And I said, "Thank you, Lord, appreciate that."
Yeah.
And it was a long day, to say the least.
So are you guys still residing in Orlando part-time? You mentioned something off of Westwood.
Well, that's where our corporate office is.
That's where your corporate office is.
And so when I got up this morning, I went over there to meet up with everybody and then kill some time because I'm just a type A personality. I'm just not going to sit around waiting for whatever.
So sitting in a parking lot had to kill you.
It's interesting to me that he says I'm a type A personality. That tells me that he's looked into personality types, probably trying to figure out Stephan, kind of like Jen had the parenting teenagers book on her dresser, trying to figure out Madeline. Flora said, "I think Jen talked him out of running, making him believe that they were in the clear." I think that's possible. Do you think so, really, John? John said Stephan's parents only gave police that drive or thumb drive because Chris was an officer and knows it's enough for them to stop looking for more and knows they're looking for all the other CSAM. I don't know. I mean, I definitely respect your opinion. I don't see his parents being much involved, and they wouldn't have had the CSAM or the hard drive, I don't think, if his parents hadn't turned it into them. I mean, it's a possibility, I suppose, but I don't know. I think they're trying to be helpful, in my opinion, but I respect yours.
It did. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Did he just say kill some time? That's interesting, but it's not surprising because you pick up on the speech patterns of people you are associated with and the content you watch. So like if you watch a creator who uses profanity a lot, you're more likely to use profanity, or says things like I say, "Hold on just a minute." You might catch yourself saying stuff like that, or drive, slap off a cliff, things like that. It's all about the people you surround yourself with and the content you watch and take in. You start to pick up on those speech patterns. So yeah, I could see Stephan picking up on that from his parents since he's around them so much. Definitely interesting though. Jenny, that's funny.
It wouldn't surprise me if somehow he stole the key out of my car, because I put all the keys there.
Okay.
So I had.
Does he have access to your car?
He would.
He would.
Because I would keep the keys on my desk. He could easily go in there and who's saying this.
And when's the last time he was at your house in Northport? Was it over the weekend for her birthday?
So I moved him back down from Kissimmee in December.
Okay.
To try to get him started on another career opportunity.
Okay.
Didn't materialize. So trying to work on some other things. So he visited.
That's interesting, Fawny. Fawny said, "I have a North Carolina accent thanks to you, Missy." That's so funny and so sweet. But yeah, I mean, it just goes further to say you pick up on the speech patterns of those around you.
Them. He lied to me about this. He visited them maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
Visited who? I'm sorry.
Jen.
Okay.
And, I'm going to Frank's house and I need a little extra cash. Okay, when are you going to be back? I'll be back later tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, Frank's house is the Warhammer friend. Frank is the name of the Warhammer friend. I don't know if you guys heard that interview. I was gonna, for today, I think we'll listen to the interview that he did in July, where they talk about going line by line through Stephan's phone and saying he worked independently. But if you guys haven't heard Stephan's Warhammer friends interview, we can do that one next.
I get an alert that a toll booth charge.
I do too, Ryan.
On E-Pass, I get an alert. I go, call him up and said, how specific?
Yeah.
So he lied to me about what he was doing.
Yeah.
But he was in Orlando until 3:00 maybe Sunday, and then he left because I told him he had to take care of his room, clean the mess out of there before he could go.
Yeah.
So he did that. He got up there at 6:30 or something.
So I just kind of overhearing their conversation. Would it be safe to say and accurate that your son had no rights to this this storage unit at all?
If he asked my permission, I would allow it.
Did he ever ask your permission?
No.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I've been missing this key for how long have I had this? Maybe I've had this key for maybe 18 months.
Okay. So was he staying with you kind of in Northport?
Yeah.
Up until now.
I moved him back in December because I couldn't afford to.
Okay, so from December to today, essentially. Yeah. Okay. All right. Where was he staying up here with Jen?
Yeah.
Okay. I just realized we just let Jen downstairs. She had the key to your truck?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we won't be too long. Just it's dark out. Okay.
Poor Jen.
All right. So he stays down there, and how often does he come up here to visit Jen and Maddie?
I think since he left in December, this would be the second, maybe third trip, but second, maybe third.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting, considering again that the Canadian neighbors saw him a week and a half beforehand. Would they know? Because I mean, he references Stephan being like, "Oh, I'm just going to go see Frank or going to see this person." So I don't think they would necessarily know how many times he had been up there. They could think he was going somewhere else or doing something else. I'm not sure. I saw that some of you said who is Frank. So I'll try to get that one located and we can listen to it next.
Okay. So December, that's February, almost March, 2nd of May. So maybe once a month. Would that be fair?
He actually went in December for Christmas time, now that I think about it, because he was not included in the family outing, but he was there. So then he made this faux trip there, and then he made this, so 3 times. He's been there 3 times.
Okay. And she stays at that apartment in Kissimmee. Has she been staying there?
And he rented, and they...
It's redacted, unfortunately.
Which I ended up having
Yes,
to
Carolina.
pay.
Renting a room within the same apartment?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jen's father rents the rooms out.
And does Jen's father live there? Or does he lease the apartment and then sublease the rooms?
Well, he owns the townhouse and he rents out the rooms and charges his daughter rent.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I came into this towards the tail end of the investigation. For some reason, I thought he was living in that apartment like today.
No.
But okay.
No, he was just visiting.
All right. You guys going back home tonight?
No, I booked the room for tonight.
Okay.
Go back tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
I didn't know what was going to happen today, so I booked the room for the second night.
Okay.
To be fair, you're right, John.
I don't know what they're
You know
doing.
what really gets me?
Y'all, this picture of Stephan where he's dressed up for some kind of a Halloween party or something, he legitimately like went to the party like this, and I had to use my editing tool to erase what he's holding. He's legitimately holding an adult toy there, and I put the word in phallic symbol because you know, and this is on Google. Like, who does that? That just tells you what kind of person he is. I mean, to be fair, it was a Halloween party. You can see the girls over here wearing, like, looks like Monster High outfits almost, but I'm sure it was something else. But I mean, like, if I saw a guy at a Halloween party and he came dressed as an inmate with an actual adult toy hanging out of his little outfit or whatever, I mean, come on, man. Like, that's just absolutely disgusting. You can find it on Google. It's ridiculous.
But I left him at 3:00.
Literally.
You know, you could see that he was physically exhausted and worn out. Matter of fact, I heard a comment when I was talking to them that he was falling asleep in the car on the way to the hotel. So I figured he'd get in bed, crash and burn, and that would be it. It's pretty ballsy to assume that Jen would sleep through the entire night and not wake up and find he wasn't there.
I don't disagree with you.
Because it was 10:45, she calls and said, "Is Stephan with you?" And I go, "No."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, he hasn't been here for 25 minutes.
And that's probably, I'm assuming, like, she woke up, it's been 25 minutes, and he hadn't shown up.
Yeah, I expected him to return, and he never returned.
Yeah.
And then he showed up maybe towards 11:30. Yeah, maybe it was like 11:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now this really, 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 really blows my mind. Obviously, something. I'm afraid to even say it, think it.
And what's that?
There's just so many inconsistencies here, and his behavior is indicating something else is going on here. You know, why would he spend nearly 6 hours driving round trip to go to Northport to the storage unit?
And here his dad's trying to starting to connect the dots. But again, like I said before, I still find it weird that Jen says that he's been gone for 25 minutes and she had just waken up. Rhonda said, I would have felt super uncomfortable at a party with him wearing that costume. If he came up to me, I'd tell him to get lost in a less friendly, more sweary way. Right. It's ridiculous. Kat said, this is another part I think she knowingly covered for him, claiming 25 minutes. Girl, if you're asleep, how the heck do you even know? Exactly. Why wouldn't you say I just woke up and he was gone?
Well, I mean,
hopefully we may be able to figure that out.
The body was in Jen's car.
We're trying to figure it out.
Have you asked him?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked to him. So.
Hey, I'm inside the building.
Let me check on that. Don't wander off too much.
What's that?
This is before they found her body.
Pausing the recording at 10:15. It's a surreptitious recording with Mr. Stearns. My name's Corporal Richards. Also 10:12 with me was Corporal Evan Avila.
So that's the end of that interview. And we'll listen to the interview with Frank, his bestie, one of his best friends, for today. And then we'll get back into Jen's lies tomorrow. That just infuriate us so if you need some anxiety meds, make sure you have them ready for tomorrow. I saved it so I could get to it quicker. Somebody said what? Oh my gosh. I was just about to answer that question and I forgot. Oh, Carolina, I think. Yes, strange things with horses. So that was an interview with his best friend Chase, or Chaz or Chase, and we listened to it on J for Justice. And his best friend said that this is a guy that lived with him for a couple of months when he was younger. And that guy said that he did do strange things with horses when they were trying to inseminate horses at a horse stall. He also said that Stearns would put his swimmers in girls' drinks and then just like really enjoy seeing girls drink that at parties and things. So, and then,
This is an interview with Stephan's long-term
see the
Warhammer friend.
picture of him at a Halloween party with that hanging out, you know what I mean? And then you think about the best friend saying that he put his swimmers in girls' drinks and would like really enjoy them drinking it. I wonder if he did it, if that's what was going on in that picture too. Yeah. They had not found her by then, Flora. She was still missing. They state in the interview that they think she's still alive. Yeah, I just caught that too. Surreptitious, however you say that. I found that interesting too. Yeah, it's absolutely devastating. All right, so this guy had some interesting things to say for sure. Yeah.
And it sounds like this friend knows Stephan best of all.
Appreciate the time you're giving us to talk to us.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Date is March 6, 2024. Time is 9:06 a.m. You're at myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood, and Frank. Spell your last name for me.
Peralti.
And what's your birthday?
June 16th, 1990.
Okay. And I have your phone number.
All right. Bad Girl said, I said that earlier. Chris didn't know he was being recorded at that time. So that's what that means. Thank you for that, Bad Girl, sweetheart. I appreciate it. He is so disgusting, isn't he? Disgusting little pig.
All right. So I'm sure you're aware of the reason why we're here. We're doing an investigation of the death of a young lady named Madeline Soda.
Oh, yeah. I found out real late in the game. So I only found out like 4 days ago.
Gotcha.
I was just sitting in the back smoking a cigarette, going through Google News, and then all of a sudden that popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit. I would have never expected a day in my life to do something like that.
Right.
He like what other I have heard other people come out and talk on these interviews on YouTube. What they say, how they know Stephan, was completely different how I knew Stephan.
So how did you know Stephan?
I met him like 3 years ago. I got into a game called Warhammer.
Okay.
And it was just like you painted models and like things like that. And you played them on the table.
Right.
And I got along with him right away. And I was like, okay. And he smoked a little weed, so I was like, okay, someone can smoke a little weed with and hang out with and play some of this game with and bullshit with. So and he didn't seem like weird. He never gave me those vibes at all. Mm-hmm. But like things recently, things he said like clicked in my brain, like they weren't together. So I don't.
John, you said Frank also lied about not knowing, just listen. Okay. I feel like he was pretty truthful, but I'll definitely be listening to see what I think.
I don't understand why they're saying they're boyfriend girlfriend. They weren't in a relationship. He moved back here because they had broken up.
When did he move back here?
He moved back here like 4 months ago. He wasn't living there, so he went there to visit for something. Like even before they were together, he would go there periodically. This has to be. He moved there 2 years ago, so that would be 2022. So 2021, he would go there like once a month, twice a month. He would go up there and go visit Jenny.
When's the last time you saw him down here?
I actually hung out with him. When did this happen? What date? Like
the beginning of last.
So I guess maybe a weekend or two before. He came out with us. I introduced him to two friends. We went to Dean's downtown to Pennsylvania, hung out. Everything was cool. Even my two friends liked him. So that was the last time I seen him. And then I was wondering why I haven't heard from him, because usually he would come here or hang out.
Did he talk about Jen or?
Yeah, he talks about Jen decently. Yeah, but he talks about that. He was talking about that girl more recently, like towards this happening. So it's like he was more upset that because they created such a strong bond. Now I know what that strong bond meant.
So he would talk more about Jen's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
What would he say about her?
So I do find he does reference him talking about Jen's daughter more, but I think he thought it was, I don't know. You know how like when you're talking to somebody and you hear them say shit and it's like, that's a really weird thing to say. Like if you're not like me, I would be like, that's weird. And why did you say that? But you know, I do true crime. Like I study these cases and things. If I was a person that didn't study true crime and I heard somebody say something like that and he didn't come outright and say, you know, I think this girl is beautiful or something, you know, just way out of line, I might be like, that's weird. I might stop hanging out with that guy, but not really think much of it. So even though he said he was talking about Maddie more, it's kind of like it clicks later. Like you find out that he was abusing this child and he possibly committed the homicide. And then you think about things that have happened in previous conversations and you're just like, oh, wow, I guess that's what that meant. You know what I mean? Orange said, call me crazy, but if I had detectives coming to my home to talk about a missing child, I would have had my spouse or partner and kids leave the house or at least go in a quiet room where they cannot hear. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with that. Some, you know, people do things differently, and I'll leave that at that.
Nothing, just like he felt bad for her and they supposedly they still had contact in between of them, like him not living there anymore.
Gotcha.
And supposedly when he lived there 2 years ago, because I kept contact with Stephan. He had visited one time. They were broken up within like the first 6 months of him living there. So he was living at the house with them when they were not in a relationship. So,
did he say why?
So if this friend has been friends with him for this long and he states that they were broken up within the first 6 months of him living there, that doesn't make sense because Jen says that he's living there and they're in a relationship for 7 years. Is he living there for 7 years without them being in a relationship or being together? Like, that's weird. If they're not together after 6 months, why is he continuing to live there?
He would go back and visit.
He'd go back to visit Jen and the daughter.
So, how would he refer to Jen's daughter? By name, just by
my girlfriend's daughter, Madeline, stepdaughter, sometimes things like that.
And how did he describe his relationship with her?
It was a strong bond. They had a strong bond.
Okay. How did he describe his relationship with Jen?
Didn't really describe the relationship they ever had. Okay. Honestly, they were just a couple.
Gotcha. Where was he living when he was down here?
Parents.
With his parents' house?
Yeah, I've only been there one time. We weren't really allowed there.
Why not?
I don't know. His mom bred poodles, so the house is packed with dogs.
Right.
And I only been there one time.
It's really interesting, and I hadn't caught that before, that he says they were broken up within the first 6 months of him living there. I mean, again, that means that he was there for 6.5 years without being in a relationship with Jen as, like, boyfriend, girlfriend. So why is he there for that long, and why are they saying that he just broke up in December when he actually leaves the house?
And his room was a disaster.
Right,
Carolina. Unkept. I mean, I was like, whoa.
Is that the type of person he is? Is he kind of like a messy person, or?
He didn't seem like that to me because, all those Warhammer things, that was like complete organization. So for the room to be like that was like a throw off. Like, well, why is it like there's soda cans and candy everywhere? It's like, I know he took Adderall.
Yeah, he took Adderall, and if he's like so OCD about certain things, why it would throw me off too. So I get it. Orange Rose, you've been a member for a month. That is so amazing. And thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing your milestone. Orange Rose said, sending love to all because I can. That was so very sweet of you. Thank you. That was so very sweet. Thank you for sharing your milestone. How sweet.
Adderall. So, he was up all times of the hours. He wouldn't wake up every day until like 4:30, 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30 every single day. It was always weird to me because dude's almost 40, doesn't work. but has money to buy all these expensive Warhammer things.
You know where he gets his money from?
That I don't know. I always wondered where the heck he get. I mean, maybe I thought he was maybe good at saving money, but like, I mean, how can someone save that much money that they have enough money for 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Now you mentioned he was taking Adderall.
Mhm.
Was it typical from during the time that you've known him
Right,
to be up all night?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When he came back, he lost a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Any idea what other medicine he was taking?
Ativan, and I recently actually messed up, and I don't know because I read a couple documents on there, and I don't know if the category F means the girl was unconscious or anything, but in recent days he talks about how strong that sleeping medicine was and how safe it was.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And who does he take that medication, or is he saying?
I don't know if he takes his sleeping medicine. Mm-hmm. That I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that I don't know. I've never even seen. I know he takes Adderall. I've never seen him take the Ativan either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, it's weird to me how everybody knows that this man takes Adderall. Like, it does seem like maybe he did have some type of addiction to it for everybody to know that he takes Adderall. That seems like, he might have been asking people like, hey, do you know where to get some Adderall? Do you have some Adderall? And they're trying not to basically voice that, but they're saying it as in, I take Adderall, or I take Adderall. He takes Adderall. Because you're not going to say to the police, like, he always asked me for Adderall, or I would get him Adderall. He would say he takes Adderall. That's just a speculation that I'm picking up on, but it is weird to me that every single person in his life knows that he takes Adderall. Like, why are you sharing that information with everybody unless you're asking them to get you Adderall or something?
I know he takes the Adderall. I've seen him take that.
Got it. Did when he lived down here, when they were split up, did he have a girlfriend or anything like that down here? Was he dating anybody, seeing anybody, or
no?
What question again?
So, what is this Warhammer? We've heard this a couple of different times. I understand it's some type of game.
Yeah, it's a game.
And everyone keeps saying it's expensive.
It's real expensive.
What is it?
I got out of it because of how expensive it is.
Okay, explain to us what expensive is.
I mean, dude, it cost me a couple $1,000s within, 6 months. It cost me at least $2,000 with the play that thing. So he had 3 whole armies.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you only need 2,000 points to play one game. So 2,000 points equals how much, what the character is. So the character could be 3 points, 5 points, things like that, 10 points, 30 points, 50 points. He had 2 full armies that were 4,000 points plus.
Okay.
So just those alone, paints, characters, everything to put that together, man, that's real expensive.
Okay, and
it wasn't working.
Does War?
That's always been interesting to me. Hey Jennifer. Anna said lots of ADHD individuals can hyper-focus on certain things, so I'm not surprised about his room being messy. That's true. That's definitely true. I see that. Hey, Karen's Best. Rhonda said Stephan likes to play his victim card. He uses his meds and etc. as an excuse not to work. That's also another good point. The Gardening Diva said, I share as in they know my meds with my friends. Maybe I overshare. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe I just think it's weird. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's something I'm picking up on that's not really weird. I don't know.
Warhammer have kind of its own community.
Yeah, everyone. Even I was talking to a couple guys from it, and they're like, what the hell, They're.
And where would these communities be on? Like Reddit, Discord?
I don't do any of that. So I met guy. I had commented on a Facebook post that I saw for a comic shop, and then somebody messaged me, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come check it out and learn about it?" And I was like, "Cool, all right." And that's when I met Stephan. He was already there playing at the shop.
Okay. Do you have Reddit?
No.
Do you have Discord?
No.
Do you know Stephan to have those things?
Stephan has Reddit for sure.
Yeah. What makes you say that?
He used to always tell me to go on Warhammer, the Warhammer things, and go check for Reddit and stuff like that and Discords.
Okay. Explain to us what Discord is.
To me, on Xbox I have it, but it's you can find people to play like we have used it to find people to play.
Why did he say I don't have a Discord and then say I have it for Xbox? I never picked up on that before.
Duty, like Warhammer. I mean Warzone. Sorry. So you can like find people to join in the chat with you, depending on how many players. Like you can go to like different chats in like 3P, 4P, so you can get 4 players, 2 players, 2 players, and then someone random would hop in there and say, "Hey, I'm ready. I'll play a game with you." And then okay, cool, and then you start up a match. That's the only instance I know that stuff for.
Okay. Do you know anyone that would know if he has a Discord?
No, I don't know. Because I don't even know any. I only know Stephan. I don't know if Stephan even has any other friends like that.
Okay. I didn't know if you had mutual friends from here.
No, I mean, only the other 2 guys is the guy who invited me to Warhammer, and the other guy that he's supposedly recently with. I mean, I don't want to say names because I don't know if they want to be like me and Dad or anything like that involved. You know, one kid, his mom is like really sick with cancer, so I don't want to get But I talked to him recently, and I mean, I was the only one Stephan told for like a really long time that he was even back. So, but
why would he keep that secret?
I don't know. I always found that weird. Why would we want to go play Warhammer and see all those guys again?
Have you ever met Jen?
Twice on FaceTime.
And what was the context of?
Stephan was just talking to her, and he was here. We were playing Warhammer, and he just took a break talking to her, and that was really it.
Okay. During those, do you remember when that was?
Oh, that was before he moved there. So he moved there like 2022 or in that time. So like, I don't know, maybe within 6 months, 8 to 6 months, 6 to 8 months prior, I guess.
And I think I already asked it, but did he tell you what kind of relationship him and Jen had? Was it a good relationship or?
I mean, if he was moving there, I guess, because they were doing like long distance and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess it was pretty good. I guess.
Now it seems like you're pretty good friends with Stephan. So, did he ever have any kind of sexual conversation with you, like, "Hey, this chick's hot," or anything like that?
Never.
I'm not talking about just kids. I'm just talking about women.
No, that never. Definitely not that, because I would have lost my mind. So, like, he would have never been allowed in this house ever. I don't condone that behavior.
Even if he made comments like that about adult females,
he didn't at all. That's what I'm saying. Never. We were at Dean's, and older woman, a cougar, whatever, came up and was 100% hitting on him, and he was single at that time. And I was like, you should go for that. And he showed zero interest. I was like, I was always that threw me off a little bit, but now it doesn't throw me off because of what's transpired.
But he didn't.
That's interesting to me that a cougar hit on him and that he didn't show any interest. I mean, we know why. It's just different to hear somebody actually say it out loud, you know?
Didn't talk to you about the relationship him and Jen had?
No, they didn't. He just told, like last time I talked to him, I said, how's it going over there? Oh, we broke up. And he was living there still. So that was very weird to me. But why would you want to live in a place where you and the person aren't any longer in a romantic relationship for? But now it makes sense why he was staying.
Did he ever talk to you? Did he ever tell you why he would go visit Jen?
Yeah, to go see Jen and the kid. You know, because he was there all the time and he built a relationship.
When he said that they had split up, but he was still living there, did he tell you how that living arrangement was?
I like to say he told me there was an extra bedroom.
Okay.
You know, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I don't know the apartment, so I don't know what it looks like in there, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said to me. I don't think he would have been staying on the couch. You know, that would have really made no sense to me, but I'm pretty sure he said there was an extra bedroom in there.
Okay. Did Jen ever come visit him down here? Do you know?
No, she never came down here. No. But she definitely provided him Adderall. That I know. She definitely, when he would run out, she definitely once or twice has provided him with Adderall.
So if Jen Soto's not on Adderall, and when Stephan has run out of Adderall, Jen Soto's providing him Adderall, and we know Madeline was on Adderall, that would mean, I mean, we could assume or speculate that she's given Stephan Madeline's Adderall. Why? I wonder if Madeline was taking the Adderall because she's fallen asleep in class.
Did he ever mention if Jen had any roommates or anything like that?
No, I've never heard anything. I really, like to say, he didn't really explain much of anything. Just that he was going out with this girl, that they had broken up within like 6 months of him moving in there, and then he still lived there until roughly 3-4 months ago. He moved back to his parents.
Okay. And you said the last time you actually spoke with him was when?
Like a weekend or two before this actually happened. So
now, was that via text or?
I can actually look it up right now. It's not on my phone from him, but I'm talking to my buddy Duke.
It was weird. It's like the first time I've seen Stephan socialize outside of
Yeah.
the game.
I was like, you know what? Let me see if Stephan wants. Like, only thing I know Stephan was socializing was coming to this house and playing some card games and stuff like that, or going to the comic shop.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Watch out, Loki.
Okay. So, what date was February 18th? Was a Sunday, right? I'm pretty sure. Let me check. Yeah. So I hung out with him February 17th.
No, was it Sunday or Saturday?
That was a Saturday. Because February 18th was a Sunday.
Okay. When's the last time you guys conversed over the phone, or how would you guys talk? Via text, phone calls, Snapchat, or whatever?
Text.
Okay.
Yeah. And
do you still have any of those texts on your phone?
No.
Why not?
Well, I work, so my phone gets tons and tons of texts. I get over 3,000 texts a week. So I can't. But once a week, I delete all my text messages.
Got it.
That's interesting that he has none of the text. And the cops picked up on that too. Like, why don't you have any of the text? That's interesting.
I get so many, so it's hard for me to even flip back to things. If I was to flip back to things me and my wife talked about, it would take me a month just to go back a week.
Got it.
So,
what do you do for work?
I'm an irrigation technician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why it cut out.
So you know a little bit about his parents, and they breed poodles.
Yeah, I know his dad.
You know where they live?
Northport. I can't tell you the name of the block. I've literally been there once.
Okay, so you have been there.
Yeah.
Do you know them to own any other properties?
No.
So yeah, why would he delete all his texts? He did say that he works, so he clears out his text messages once a week, but it's definitely weird that he deleted all his text messages. And if he's not suspected of a crime, they can't subpoena his phone or like download it or anything. So that is weird. I mean, I do have to hand it to you. Excuse me, John. That is weird. I mean, I can't say that it's not.
I don't even, I've heard things on these YouTube things, and it surprised me a couple things. Like, there's supposedly his mom paid someone off or something like that. I never heard these things. Like, nothing about them. I've met them one time.
Do you know if they rent anything?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know anything about them.
Okay.
I've met them.
You don't know
time.
them to own a storage unit, anything like that?
No. I've literally met them one time. I've met the dad. I've shook his hand once. I've met his mom. I've said hello to her once. And I was in there for maybe 15 minutes, and we left because of how loud it was because of the poodles.
Okay.
Well, John, we don't know that he's involved. We can speculate, or you can speculate, but we don't know definitively. You know what I mean? Bad girl. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the support. That was so very sweet of you. Bad girl said, just sending you love and support. Keep up the good work. And no, we got you, darling. Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. My goodness. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I can't tell you thank you enough. That was so sweet of you, bad girl. How sweet. Thank you. Flora said, I think this guy exaggerates a bit. I'm not going to put that past him either. I think we can speculate that he might exaggerate a bit as well.
For Warhammer, is there like a username and stuff for that? Gamer tag?
No, it's just Stephan.
Okay.
Yeah, you go by your first name. It's not like anything like that.
So Warhammer's not online. It's like
it's actual in-person game.
Oh, okay. Now
That's when you said Discord or Reddit for it. No, like maybe a Reddit because you can like buy and sell them on Reddit or something like that. He's always told me to go check that
Guilty
out.
of crime said, I think this guy is a little bit shady, but I doubt he's involved in the Stephan Stearns stuff. Maybe Stephan Stearns was around him for kid access. It's possible. I don't think this guy was letting him get anywhere close to his children, but personally, I don't think that he would have been involved in any of that stuff. But it is weird, like I said, that his messages are all deleted. Right, I get it, John. You're good.
I've never been much of a Reddit user, honestly. I'm trying.
I didn't know if it was kind of like a World of Warcraft or something like that. Isn't that online?
Yeah, no, it's not like that.
Not
No. It's just an actual. You paint this stuff and you're on the table playing. There's like a mat and it's like things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I better understand.
Yeah. No, this is like an in-person game, just kind of like Magic the Gathering or like a Pokemon cards game, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is like actual like models that you build to put together and paint, and like that's why it's so expensive.
That's why it's so expensive because you buy them in little packs and then you individually paint each one. So you got to buy the paints and all the brushes.
Yeah, pack is minimum.
And then you would battle somebody.
Yeah.
On the table.
Yeah, roll dice.
Make
roll
like
dice. Choose what like attack you're gonna do and things like that.
And stuff like war vehicles and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just because I'm recording this and your name is?
Oh, sorry. Brittany.
Brittany, what's your last name?
@ATZ.
Okay. And you guys are husband and wife?
I mean, we've been together, not legally, but we've been
Boyfriend,
together for a long time. We have 10 years plus. So,
what's your date of birth?
June 16th, 1990.
Frank, June 16th, 1990.
Yeah.
And yours, Brittany?
February 27th, 1989.
I didn't pick that up or I'd have redacted it. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, the reason I called because I was one of the last person that I'm pretty sure he saw before this all happened. So, I mean, I can only tell you what.
Did he tell you he was going to Kissimmee?
He was supposed to go to Kissimmee that weekend that we hung out on the 17th.
Why didn't he go?
Didn't. So he was like, I don't know, I'll let you know. And I was like, okay. And he's like, all right, I'm not going to go. I'll come hang out.
Did he say why?
Nope. But he was talking about that girl.
I wonder if Maddie would have been at her grandma's at that time and maybe that's why he didn't go. That's interesting.
That day, how they supposedly still had contact. And
why would he bring her up? Like, how would
like it was
conversation
like they were talking about the breakup, him and my friend, and then that girl just came up out of it. Like, oh, he was sad that or like upset because they had created such a strong bond or something like that. So now that seems weird to me. Then it didn't really seem weird to me because it was just like, okay, you were with this person for a while, you lived there. This is a child.
So he was telling you, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he was upset that him and Jen broke up because he created such a strong bond
me and the person that were here that I had introduced him when we were going to go out.
But that was the context of his conversation, is that he was upset that him and Jen broke up or broke up because he was upset about the strong bond that he created with Maddie.
Yeah. Well, but now we know it's not a bond. It's fucking sick. So.
Right. It seems so innocent when it's just said without context. Like, if I was in a relationship with somebody long term, several years, and now their kid, we're splitting up, of course I'm going to miss that kid. But now with the context, it just seems.
Hindsight's 2020, right?
Right, exactly. When you talk it, it's just regular. It seems so innocent.
Right.
When he sent me this, I was like, "What is that? What?" I mean, my kids love him. He's,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I never would have thought in a million years Stephan would be capable of this type of behavior.
Right. This one, I was watching the video. I had
that was like
on his face, and he's like, "Oh, that's nothing. Daddy's friend." I'm like, "Yeah, he's in trouble." And just kind of left it at that.
Now, let me ask you this, since you opened that can of worms, has he ever been alone with
No. But that makes me wonder now. It's like, Stephan used to give me a lot of free things, like, cards and these Blood Bowl characters, a pad. Like, was he trying to groom, like, get me comfortable enough for me to be like, hey, I got to go to the store real quick. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's in the back of my mind too. Because it's just.
I mean, I think that's a question that anybody would have that had found themselves in this situation. So again, I mean, I feel I can definitely understand because I would feel the same way.
sick. I would have never expected this because I would have never been friends with somebody that does these type of things.
Right.
You know?
Right. We can't even go to Walmart without them being like, "Get away from my kids."
Yeah.
To random old people just trying to be nice.
Yeah, no,
Explain.
it's honestly really sick and it's
That's why
upsetting.
it's
Like
so
every time I see those pictures of him online, it's like it rattles my brain. Like, how didn't I know this person was doing these things?
Gotcha.
Did he ever talk about, as far as when he would go to Kissimmee and stay with Jen and Maddie, his sleeping arrangements?
They're saying he told me there was a spare bedroom there. That's what I'm saying. Like when they broke up, I'm sure. I mean, to
But
me,
even when they were together.
I mean, to me, he didn't tell me anything about that. But my assumption would be he'd be staying in the room with her.
Darlene, they're talking about Stephan.
That's just usually what people are.
Her as being Jennifer.
Yeah.
I know you said that you knew him to take Adderall.
Yeah.
Did you know him to take anything else?
No, I mean the time we were down, we just smoked a little pot and we had a couple beers.
I'm talking about
prescriptions.
No. I don't know anything else about it. Like I tell you, I know he had prescription for Adderall, Ativan, and then in recent days he talked about Linux.
Do you know what those are?
Adderall is an ADHD medication. Ativan is a benzodiazepine, which is for anxiety and things like that, which I thought was weird to be prescribed with Adderall because they kind of combat each other. Mm-hmm. So it can make you go into psychosis and things like that. And the Lunesta I know is for sleep.
Okay. Has anybody reached out to you since all this has happened?
Like anybody of him? I only talked to two guys from Warhammer. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has Jen reached out to you?
No, I don't know. I don't know her like that. Okay. Like I said, I've only met her on FaceTime, so I've never met her personally, face to face, anything like that.
Okay.
It's interesting that he met her on FaceTime too. They're always doing them face calls, which is weird. This is Stephan's Warhammer friend.
Now he says he takes sleeping medication, but yet he's continuously up all night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then he would sleep all day. Like all day. You couldn't get in touch with Stephan until like at least 5 o'clock. Like the earliest, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then he'd take you out.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
No. All right. Do you swear and affirm that everything you told us today is the truth, best on your knowledge? So help you God.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that was Stephan's Warhammer friend. So I'm going to have to go for the day because it's about time for me to get started on dinner tonight. I want to thank y'all for being here and being so sweet and so supportive. I really love our speculating family so much and the time we get to spend together every day. I will be watching in the morning to see if Stephan's motion hearing will be televised. I doubt that he'll show up, but we shall see. As soon as I find out anything, I will let y'all know. If it's not televised, I will post when I find out what is going on as far as the motions, if I can find out what was granted and what wasn't. And either way, we will be live tomorrow at 1:30. So if you don't see me in the morning, expect for me to be here at the normal time, and we'll continue going through these interviews again to touch up on everything. I love you all so much. I hope that you know you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And I really appreciate each and every one of y'all so very much. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Stay safe and kiss and hug your family members. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future.